Alright, hello Retrothon. I'm WanderingMind, and I'm gonna be showing off Valkyria Chronicles 2, which is a game that's near and dear to me. And on commentary with me is Loof.
Hi there, I'm Loof. I am a very experienced Valkyria Chronicles player. I typically play with the level 1 playstyle, but I've been brought on commentary for Valkyria Chronicles 2.
Yeah, so get ready for 3.5 hours to 4 hours worth of a lot of stuff going on. It's gonna be jam-packed, and I'm gonna get everything set up here. Got everything basically ready to go. It's gonna be a lot of action, at least for the first 30 minutes. So Loop is going to help me explain a lot of things, and I am gonna get ready really soon, like right away. So let me go here. New game. We're gonna be playing on normal, which is standard difficulty. Let's see here. Alright, so 3, 2, 1.
And welcome to Valkyria Chronicles 2. For those that are familiar with the series, with the beloved Valkyria Chronicles 1 on the PS3 initially, now available on all platforms, on the surface this is going to look very similar, but under the hood, because this is on the PSP, they made a ton of reworking with the game's engine and had to make a couple concessions. So this is the first mission, and the objective is to just defeat the 3 scouts that are here. We're going to be picking Avan because, well, Avan is is the main character, and headshots in this game will deal 2.5 times damage before defense calculation. Typically, headshots are really strong against the enemy. Now, we're going to be ending the turn here because what happens is we are playing on instant enemy speed, which is a new feature compared with the first game, where enemies will very quickly take their actions. And quite often you will see missions end during the enemy phase because we defeat them with the game's counterfire and interception fire mechanics.
That was
Inter
actually really good, because sometimes that enemy on top will just survive, but anyway.
Yeah, so interception is a mechanic within the Valkyria Chronicles series where when you enter or get close enough to an enemy and they can see you, they'll start firing bullets at you, and it can be pretty annoying. You'll be seeing a lot of that. And then counterfire is if you fail to kill a target or a target fails to kill you, you will do a retaliation attack.
So right now we have our second mission. So fun fact, with these first 2 missions, you cannot go back to the menu. So like if a run dies at least in the first mission or 2, I actually have to quit out of the game.
Yeah, so now we've picked up our we're going to be using our second class, which is the engineer. And engineers are very different from how they are in the first game because they have a 6-shot pistol. Engineers use a different weapon in the second game, which typically deals a lot more damage compared to a scout, but the accuracy is far worse. Engineers also have the same movement as a scout, so that's why we used Cosette there. Now with Avan, we're going to be using 2 actions, I believe, here.
Yeah.
And you might see the gauge at the bottom of the screen, and that is the AP gauge. For the first action of a turn, a character will use has access to 100% of that gauge. For the second action, they have 2/3. For a third action, they have 1/3. And for all subsequent actions after the third, they'll have 50 points of AP.
Okay, I'm relieved. So, directional defense.
Yeah. Compared to the first game, they throw in a brand new mechanic, which is directional judgment, or also known as directional defenses, where, in short, the front of a enemy or your character has higher defense, and the back has lesser defense. There's also side defenses, and when we end up attacking, you'll see at the top there is an aim, and that tells you if you're targeting the front, side, or rear of an enemy. If you're targeting the side of an enemy, their evade rating is halved and they'll take a little bit more damage compared to the front. And if you attack them from the rear, they'll take quite a bit more damage as you're hitting their rear defense, and they will not be able to evade. Here we're just toggling characters out in and out of our party. We're basically trying to get the most useful characters in and taking the less useful ones out. Which would be putting in Salvaria, Marion, Lynn, Edie, and Maximilian.
Yep. Okay, so hopefully I did get everyone. There is a lot of menuing and a lot of characters I gotta remember to put in and out.
Yeah, so this game does have a password system where you can put in codes to unlock characters, and we allow them during the run because they are technically on the disc, so... or they are included within the base files of the game.
Yeah, so...
The objective in this mission is to defeat all the enemy units, and quite often you will see us use grenades over the gun with a trooper, because expelling all 20 bullets with a trooper takes quite a bit of time.
Grenades explode on impact.
Yes, which is another difference compared to the first game. As you can see, that rear registry, making it so it only needs 12 bullets. I believe if you're getting a front registry on that attack, it takes 20.
Yeah. And potentials. You want to explain potentials?
So every potential in this game has their activation condition, which can sometimes be incorrect. This game didn't get the best translation effort from Japan, and essentially potentials will either buff or debuff the unit depending on if they activate a positive or negative potential.
Right. So for example, Anisad has country bred, so if she's on dirt, she gets an attack boost. I can sometimes get that here.
Yeah. Potentials can activate off so many conditions. You've got terrain, selection, when they're attacking, when they're crouching, when they're crouched and attacking. You basically need to know how the character works. It's too difficult to explain how every potential that we get is being used. So we're changing Ivan to a trooper here. Yeah, from Castlevania 2 speedrun. Yeah, the localization is okay, but it can be really bad at points.
Yeah, and with the limitations of like the PSP, the amount of abbreviations.
Yeah, like change is always like shortened to CHG. And the game often spits out a bit of nonsense with the sort of abbreviation for words.
Yeah. Alright.
Okay, let's go.
So we got maneuver and exercise, so kind of a recurring theme is that we're just gonna run past gunfire and make it to our goal.
Yeah, gunfire in Valkyria Chronicles 2 isn't too horrible to deal with. But it can sting when you're getting hit from the rear.
Yeah.
That's when the gunfire really starts hurting.
Yeah, so like in 1, I mean, you had Alicia Rush. Here is a Von Rush. 3
Yeah.
is a different story.
3 is, no one's rushing. Because 3 deals a lot of damage. A lot of people that have played the series casually will often say skip out on 2. I would disagree with that. I'd say playing 2 before 3 definitely makes you appreciate 3 a lot more, because you know of a previous standard that the game was at. Which I think Wandering Mind also agrees that you should definitely play 2 before 3.
Yeah, because it's still an excellent game that was well received at the time. It's just the bar is really high with the other games.
Yeah, 3 sets an impossibly high standard compared to 2.
Yeah.
But it's definitely still worth playing Valkyria 2.
Yeah. So we got our first story mission.
Yes. So the first story mission, I believe, is we have to destroy the enemy tank.
Yep.
And we will not be using a Lancer. Well, I don't think we see too many Lancers during this run anyway.
Nope.
But luckily, what they do is they put a Ragnite crate right behind a tank, right near it, so you destroy the crate and it destroys the tank. And to do that, we'll just be rushing Avan through Area 3.
Just gotta watch my health.
Yeah. The troopers, with the amount of bullets they spray at you, they can start hurting.
Yeah.
Another reason me and WanderingMind would say play 2 before 3 is the damage intake in 3 is absolutely ridiculous compared to 2.
It is. Alright, just making sure. And the menuing can be a bit sticky here.
Yeah. If there's one thing to learn about Valkyria Chronicles 2's menus is they run at 30 frames a second, and half of the game is you fighting with the menu instead of trying to work with it.
Yeah, I try to make it work for me.
Yeah, I can definitely tell you that menuing in Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3 is definitely a challenge.
It is. Yeah.
And that is January complete. The division of this game is split up through the 12 months of the year, and January is the first.
Yeah.
To begin,
you want to go over the plot points that are happening?
I have a lot that I need to focus on right now, so when I get to March, it'll be a lot easier for me.
Yeah, we'll start covering the plot when we get to March.
Alright, so we got our first night mission.
Yeah, so missions in this game also have weather effects, and the first, well, not really a weather effect tonight, is it? But have area effects, and night will reduce the vision of where we can start detecting enemies. And for those that are like, oh, scouts have better detection, not under night. Scouts are only better at detecting units that are in grass.
Yep.
And because of the class system in this game, that also extends to snipers.
I'm gonna use sandbags to help conserve movement, and we're gonna grenade the scout right there, and destroy the sandbag where the trooper is standing, so I can actually do some headshots, or because it has low enough health, I'm just gonna fire away.
Yeah. So trooper bullets in this game spread absolutely wildly. They're really, really, really unpredictable. When we're shooting, you can see the orange dotted circle. Bullets can basically go anywhere within there.
Yep. So most of the time, I will need to do headshots, and hopefully I have enough materials to build the constructor arm and the light tank B.
Yes, the only important thing that we need the tank materials for, or R&D materials for, is building the light tank.
How can I help you today?
And APC exercise.
For those that are a fan of the APC, you will not be seeing it outside of escort missions in this game.
Yeah.
It fires way too slowly to the point that I can make a cup of tea and still come back and it's firing.
Right. BC3 fixed this where it's just rapid fire.
Yeah, Valkyria Chronicles 3's firing with the APC is way faster, which makes the APC actually very, very useful in that game.
Right. The APC. Hopefully that should be alright. I got a double
So look
kill.
how long it takes to deplete all 30 bullets from the magazine. It takes forever, so that's why you typically don't see the like machine gun turrets during this run.
Right.
Because you might just think it's the APC, but no, it's all the machine gun turrets for the tank take this long.
Yep. Oh, just look at it go down.
I know. I think Doomy like made an APC-less route for this mission, but it's very, very, very awful.
Shout out to Doomy.
Yeah, Doomy has done a heck of a lot for the series for both for both 2 and 3, and has basically led the charge on 4 as well.
Yeah, like, he has broken the series so hard, like, it's wild.
Yeah. That came along with the knowledge of 2 and 3, or what we like to call the PSP engine, because functionally they're almost identical.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. So, double kill can be a bit inconsistent because our early game submachine gun is pretty inaccurate.
Yeah. One thing that is more satisfying with the PSP engine is that you can get way more multi-kills more consistently.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna switch back Yvonne to a scout.
To begin, here is today's news.
And so I'm gonna be mashing the start button a lot, so I can use it to skip cutscenes, tutorial prompts, and the upgrade animation. Like, I'm using a PS4 controller, and it has a smudge mark from how many times I have mashed it.
Yeah, so Yvonne in this game can become any class, and that's because he's not equally as like impressive with all of them. He's more so not very good, so it's like, you can be anything, go ahead.
Yeah, oh boy. So when we get to March, so once I get the turret drop, which we will go into a bit of detail later. But now, let's explain the credit system. Oh boy.
So, Valkyria Chronicles 2 is known for its randomness. And this randomness is basically routed into every single aspect of the game. When you clear missions and getting like materials for your R&D, that's random. When you're getting credits to upgrade the classes of your characters, that's random. We know how the RNG system functions, as in like how the RNG is rolled for these through methods of emulation and save states, but we have absolutely zero idea on how to manipulate it.
Yeah.
Because ideally, if we knew how to manipulate credits and like materials, that would help an absolute ton.
Okay, that looks good.
Yeah, you got some March and March X.
Yeah. So with the second tier classes, it's pretty straightforward, but when we get to the third tier, it's really scattered.
Yes. Credits in the game are split over 4 categories, being arms, march, support, and attack. And each mission will give different styles of the credits. There's also promotional credits, which will be certificates and diplomas, but they are a lot rarer to see and aren't in every single mission all the time.
Yeah. So we have a certain number of key missions that we gotta do, which will unlock the story mission. Usually it's 3, in a number of months it's 4.
Yeah. So it would be the February story mission, and the objective is to defeat the target, which is a sniper.
Yeah. And because it's a boss unit, its health is hidden.
Yes. Typically within the series, if you are in a mission which has a boss unit, you won't see its health, and which is really, really annoying. but they also have a ton of health. It's typically in like the almost 1000 HP range.
Right. Looking at my notes here, because there are 55 missions that we do in any percent, aka just beat the game. A lot of deployment, a lot of selecting, and just a lot of things to keep track of.
Yeah. So we're going to be sending in Zeri here as our trooper, and you'll see how this sniper is incredibly resilient compared to the sniper that was grenaded in the previous area with Avant.
Yeah. Alright, so we destroy the sandbag to do our setup here, and then we're just gonna kind of run around from behind.
Yeah, we want to make sure that this sniper cannot see us, so we shoot him in the back of the head. The grenade there to the side of the sandbags is...
Cool.
Yeah. The grenade there to break the sandbags and was to bring the sniper up standing, because if you're crouched behind a sandbag or are in grass, you have critical hit immunity.
Yeah,
That was a decent February, aside from... Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that sniper usually takes 2 actions to kill.
Right.
Getting the 1 round on him is incredibly rare.
Yeah. The hitbox on his head from behind is deceptively small.
Yeah, it is really deceptive. That's actually with quite a lot of units, actually, where if you hit them from behind, the headshot is rather deceptive.
Yeah. So we got our first R&D, so...
Yeah, for the first R&D, we'll be upgrading our scout rifles to level 3, the grenade to level 2, and uniform to level 2. And I believe there's also machine gun level 3
Right.
as well.
Hold on, let me just... Yeah. Just making sure here. Okay, good, we got our materials.
Yeah. So there's the constructor arm, which is very, very important for this run. And the Vanquish sticker, which gives us 10 extra AP for our tank. You might think 10 extra AP on top of 400 isn't that much, but AP is probably one of the most important stats within the game.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Vanquish, which is an excellent game by Platinum.
Yeah, Vanquish is a absolutely fantastic game.
Alright, so... Okay. Oh, I somehow forgot to take out Renee. Oh.
Yeah, so here's a mission we're going to be doing twice. Because we are searching for the ace drop from the tank. Now, aces in this game are essentially bonus units. When you defeat them the first time, you will get their blueprint, which will allow you to research the R&D a little bit further. But then when you defeat them for a second and subsequent times after the first, you have a chance to get what's called an ace weapon. And ace weapons in this game are absurdly broken.
Yeah.
Enemy silent. That's a relief. Now, advance.
So, we're gonna switch on over and destroy the ace tank right here.
Entering combat.
So, if you're familiar with the first game in the series, Maximilian is the bad guy, and for some reason he's playable.
Alright, just making sure. Okay, looks good. Gonna build our bridge here.
Right, let's get her done.
Get
And
done.
this is why we need the constructor for this bridge.
Do not afford them a chance to attack.
And if you're wondering for the Lancer why we're using Maximilian, he is by far the strongest early game Lancer.
Right. Oh.
Nice double.
Oh, baby.
Well, of course. The enemy's taking casualties.
That's a beautiful double.
It was. And Anisette, the sister of Edie Nelson, who the twin-tailed, one of the most popular characters from the first game.
Yes, Edie is the only non-main character from Valkyria Chronicles 1 that shows up in every game.
Oh, fun fact.
There's your fun fact.
Yeah. But yeah, one of the most popular characters in Japan, and speaking of one of the most popular characters in the West, we do have Marina. Sadly, we won't be using her in this game,
To begin,
at least in the run.
here is today's
Yeah, I
news.
believe with Valkyria Chronicles 4,
How can I help you today?
it's the Advanced Ops DLC. I believe you've completed that during your playthrough.
Yeah.
If not, it's not too much of a spoiler because her face shows up. There was actually a poll for Valkyria Chronicles 4, I believe in Japan, where it's like, which character do you want to see? And Edie won.
Yeah.
By no surprise.
Yeah, so fingers crossed.
Yes. So we're going to be replaying this mission, and I believe Doomy said it's a 1 in 6 chance that you get the turret.
The amount of
So-
resetting that I do here up to this point.
Yeah, so you see that timer saying 25 minutes. Yeah, there's a 1 in 6 chance that world record page gets deleted because of you not rolling for the captured turret.
Yeah, and that's even if I get to this point, because things can go wrong, especially in the first two missions.
Yeah. I believe you're only going to be playing this mission once, and then you're going to be loading the backup save.
Right, just for the sake of time.
Yeah, for the sake of time, if we don't get the captured turret, we'll be loading a backup save that has the turret
Quite refreshing.
obtained.
Yeah. So oh, we
Progress.
pretty nice.
Yeah,
The enemy's taking casualties. Don't let them escape.
Zeri hasn't learned his potential yet, so I don't need to go over that mechanic. You
Right.
know, that mechanic.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, moment of truth.
Taking the stage.
So we got the same thing, so Country Bread, we're gonna lose it because we go over a bridge. And we get it again!
Yes, so potentials in Valkyria Chronicles 2 can activate multiple times depending on the condition, like because, you know, Anisette's on dirt. But there is a mechanical change in 4 where potentials have where potentials are sticky, where if they've activated, they will stay active for the rest of the turn, no matter what.
Alright, it's all or nothing. Bust, or maybe I'll take it all. Nope.
Nope. So because we didn't get the ace weapon, I believe that Wandering Mind will now be loading the backup save.
Yes. There are multiple factors. It's not
To
even
begin,
the
here is
turret.
today's
It can
news.
be materials. And it can be credits that I can run short on. So,
Yeah.
yeah. If I do get a run going, I try to see it all the way to the end.
Yeah, so we're just loading up a backup save so we don't have to play the mission over and over again. You never know, we might have to do it 7 times to get the turret. It's not great.
Yeah.
But because we're on a marathon, we have a backup save to just do it.
And I have to build it from the ground up. There is no copying over in the second game.
Yeah, when you've picked a save slot to save into, you can't transfer it over easily on a console. You have to actually transfer the save file over to a PC if you just want to save,
How can I help you
like
today?
change the slots. It's really painful.
Alright, just checking all my units here. Okay, alright, looking good here. Just a force of habit.
Yeah.
Alright, everything looks good here. And we are going to be going over to our defend mission.
Yeah, so defend missions, essentially we set up the mission in a state to where we just skip turns.
Yeah, and this is when I get to explain the plot to this game, so let me just get it set up here. But fun fact, you can also get the turret drop here, and this is where I used to get it. But anyway, so in the first game, there's just a lot to keep track of. But basically in the second game, it's like an alternate World War II era Europe. And so you have like the Empire and the Federation, these two superpowers that are constantly fighting. And in the middle, you have the small country of Gallia, which is kind of like a neutral nation. And everything was alright until the Empire invaded for resource called Ragnite, which powers a lot of the technology in the game. And so Vulcan and a ragtag of units called Squad 7, against all odds, they push away the Empire. But along the way, the Monarch, Cordelia, turns out to be a Darkson, who are a race of people with dark blue hair and dark blue eyes who have been discriminated against. And so, and it kind of goes into kind of the origin story of the series where you had this thing called the Darkson Calamity. And then you, according to legend, you had these group of people called the Valkyria who came in and put an end to it with their mysterious powers. But the second game spoils the first game, so it turns out that Cordelia was Darkson and that her ancestors kind of swapped sides and were given the country of Gallia. But their identity was kept a secret. And so a lot of people accepted Cordelia, but then you had a number of people, especially nobility, some people who were upset, and they decided, oh, we're gonna overthrow the monarchy and create a pure Gallia. So that's where the rebels come in. And so you have a civil war, so Gallia was decimated, and so the loyalists, as I like to call them, are struggling. And so we have enter Landseal Royal Military Academy. And this is like the one military academy. And so you have a bunch of students who are the last line of defense. So this game is kind of like anime high school. It's supposed to be a military academy, but it's more anime high school. And so you have a Von Hardens who joins the school. He's kind of like your hot-blooded shonen type protagonist. And he leads Class G, who they are like the bottom of the barrel. And kind of like the underdogs. And this is their story of school life and fighting the rebels. This is a mouthful, but that's kind of the basic plot.
Yeah, treat Landseal like a tier list. Class A is A tier, and Class G is so bad it's worse than F tier.
Right. Yeah, so we have the rebels, but then we have a mock battle competition called the Leviathan Cup. And so, like, you have a character named Juliana Everhart who is kind of like the nobility type character, and she's kind of like your rival, and you're trying to get your way up to face her. Which we won't really be seeing her until July. But yeah, like the people often criticize the plot because it's very anime trope heavy, especially when you go from the first game, which set a high standard for a story. Then you go to this game, which kind of set up, put off a lot of people. Like, it's, I mean, I love the second game and the characters really grow on me, but sadly, the game did not sell very well in the West. This game was very much built as a Japanese commuter game. So on your way to work or school, you would do these regular missions, and then you would do these story missions at home. It is so laser targeted.
Yeah, like as you can see, we're just running through the missions in like a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. You know, you jump on your train in Japan, and you know, you do the mission on Japan. You maybe do another mission, like 2 or 3 missions, and that's your grinding.
Yeah.
Because this game is incredibly grindy if you want to do some of the post-game stuff.
Oh, and the post-game gets really grindy. Like, I replayed it earlier in the year, and oh, you saw how it went.
Yeah, if you saw on the save menu that 195-hour save, that's
can I help you today?
not even an average, like, sort of almost 100% clear for all the decorations. That's a fairly quick, all decorations clear.
Yeah. And alright, so we have a bunch of story cutscenes that we gotta skip, and then we got our first major difficulty spike of the game.
Yes, VIP Escort. It's the first escort mission that you're going to be seeing through the game. The objective is to take the escort APC to the end point, which would be... We're starting in Area 5 and the end point is in Area 2. Are you going to show off the silly thing you can do in this mission, or are you going to just go for it?
We got a run to do.
Yeah. There is a very silly thing you can do in this mission, or it's mostly just this map layout, which is the Lean Bluff Forest.
Gotta focus here.
Yeah, so this introduces a new unit class to us, which are V2 units. They're artificial Valkyria, and they really, really hurt. They also have this glowing shield, which massively reduces the amount of damage they take. I believe it is a 50% reduction before defense calculation.
Yeah.
But their weakness is these supply vehicles. And essentially, these V2 units are powered by the supply vehicles. If you destroy them, their shield goes down and they lose access to their massive laser attack.
Yeah. One explains other stuff, Ian.
So, you may have seen Wandering Mind like constantly enter target mode and exit target mode while trying to destroy the supply vehicle and get past Dirk. The V2 units also have another weakness, which is entering target mode, as when they're wanting to intercept a character that's running past them, their animation to raise their weapon takes so incredibly long that you can basically abuse target mode to get by them. Every different weapon that can be used to attack, such as a lance, your gun, and everything, have different frame data on how long it takes to pull up and start targeting. And typically the grenade is the fastest option, followed by... Oh, sorry, Ragnite is the fastest option, followed by grenade, followed by your gun.
Yep. Also, recurring theme, I do not like moving the camera.
Yeah, so the camera controls in Valkyria Chronicles 2 are absolutely absurd. To control the camera, you use L and R, which sound functionally viable, but if you want to look up or down, it's triangle and X, or the cross button. So you're having to essentially almost claw grip a controller to, or even worse if it was a PSP, to control the camera. And I know Wandering Mind typically doesn't like to turn the camera.
Yeah.
Here's today's news.
This is a Yep. Wandering Mind does not like moving the camera at all.
Ah, Avon.
Anyway, we got our first supply crate mission.
So, the new mission type thrown at us, which is supply crates. Essentially, you'll be given a certain amount of crates to capture or to touch in each mission. This can vary quite wildly. I believe this mission's only, is it 3 or 4 here?
3.
Yeah, and so there's 3 supply crates in this mission, and each area can hold up to 2 crates. Which, of course, going into Valkyria Chronicles 2 and its randomness, is random. However, on the mission map, you can see a yellow box, or like the overview map in command mode, you can see a yellow box which will tell you if there is a crate or not in that area.
And grenade launching.
Yeah, grenade launching, basically, it's a lot of experience. You know where to throw your grenades and knock enemies and displace them out of a camp. And this is to capture camps, because you cannot capture a camp if there is an enemy inside it. Have you viewed where you're... you got the bad spawn.
Well, we'll see here. Okay. This is what it is. This is where you can save or lose time.
Yeah, I was just saying it's the bad spawn because you got an area 3.
Yeah, Let's see. There is one spawn point that I do not like very much. And we got it. Oh boy. So I have to go around. I have to grenade a log.
Yeah,
Wait.
this is a really unfortunate spawn for this crate in Area 3.
Right. Make sure that you don't aim on top of it, otherwise it'll bounce and you won't destroy it.
Yeah. And there we go.
Yep. There are only 4 supply crate missions throughout the entire run.
Yeah. They can be fast, but there's variance in how they can go due to the spawns.
Yeah. So next we got our enemy commander mission, and this one's gonna be a bit
To
interesting.
begin, here is today's news.
Yeah. So
Oh,
in every month
hello.
you are given multiple
How can I
missions
help
that
you
you can
today?
do. We typically try to avoid any that are going to be fairly long, so there'll be escort missions, and of course, defeat all enemy missions. They take absolutely ages, so we avoid them where possible.
Yeah. And this is one where grenade launching is gonna have some interesting results if it goes right.
Moving out. I see.
And landmines
Enemy
have very
sighted.
small hitboxes in the
Nothing to
PSP
get riled
game.
about.
Yeah.
Hopefully this works.
You're through.
So this is where we learn about the Fencer class. Oh, that was wonderful. And Fencers have a massive shield and also have a sword with them. This is often called Fire Emblem with guns.
Oh!
And,
Alright.
yeah, that spread was really bad. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
Alright, I'm gonna use a bond just to turn him around. And as long as I don't move Zeri,
Watch and learn.
Yeah.
Leave it to me.
But yeah, Fencers in this game, they can't intercept, but their swords deal a ton of damage, so we try to avoid them.
yeah.
Or try to avoid being near them, and melee units in this game, we do have armored techs. You'll probably not see many, but they move incredibly slow, so they're not worth using.
Yeah, and even upgrading them is a pain, so armor techs are a new unit in the PSP games.
To begin.
Yeah, they
here
swing
is
a
today's
war pick
news.
and move incredibly slowly, but they do have a shield which
How can I
wards
help
off
you today?
fairly weak fire.
Yeah. But they're more defensive units where you use them to guard or if you have heavy enemy fire.
Yeah, or if you need to disarm some mines, you know.
Or repair
There's also
sandbags.
there's also clips that exist, you know, the ladder skip.
Oh, yeah.
But you will not be seeing the ladder skip during this run.
Right.
Okay, let's
So
go.
here, it's gonna run.
Oh,
That's never happened before.
that sneaky mine right there. That's a
Crisis is a turning
yeah. So you know how we talked about random spawns? Mines, sandbags, and units are random. So that little sneaky mine behind that sandbag, yeah, this is stuff you have to adapt to through this game.
Oh, I got the water splash effect.
Huh.
Mission confirmed. Now,
Oh, is that because the trajectory of the trooper was trying to go into the water that's outbound?
Yeah. Oh, yep.
enemy spotted.
Alright. Alright, let's see here. That's actually really good. You can get up to 3 enemies here.
Yeah. So that was a 7-10 split with the grenade.
Yep. And now we got our other major difficulty spike.
Yep.
So we get introduced to our main antagonist, Baldrin, who's kind of leading the charge to get rid of Dark Sins from Gallia. And so here we're going to have to capture 3 camps, but then we have Baldrin, and if you can explain Baldrin's gimmicks.
So Baldrin is a unique enemy, as when it's your turn, he will act as a gunner class and just absolutely spray tons of bullets and murder you really quickly. But when it's his turn, he will be a mauler class, which is, think of a fencer, but they can deal damage to absolutely just destroy a tank. So you can't really defend your bases very well using a tank. However, and he is a boss enemy, but we're not required to kill him, so we will try to avoid him as much as possible.
Hey, Yvonne. What brings you here?
So, Gallian 4. Grenade 3. Uniform 3. And then Lancer 3.
Yeah. So this is the second R&D of the run. We basically don't have to worry about money. We get plenty of it during the run. And we will be upgrading our tank to the Light B class.
Yep. Which gives us greater accuracy. Trying to think what else.
And a 1 command point move.
Right. And no movement penalty on certain terrain.
Yeah. So the light tank B is incredibly powerful in this game because because most importantly it reduces the command point cost to move it from 2 to 1. And if you think about like turn economy, essentially, that's the importance of light tank B.
Yeah. There is a lot involved here, so if you can't kind of take over while I focus.
Yeah, so this mission is going to be doing an AI manipulation of how Baldrin will move to basically keep him out of the fight of where we see him. And the objective is to capture the 3 camps. So let's build a ladder. You know that old Twitch meme. And yeah, this cannon we got from the Ace, or because we used the backup save, is incredibly powerful. It can destroy medium tanks from a distance.
Alright, and here we go. So, withdraw. Leo can move around, and he has a thing called recall. So, if you kill an enemy and you don't remove their body from the field, he can revive them.
Yes, but he cannot revive tanks.
Correct. Okay. Hopefully we'll see what happens here. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Bit unfortunate. We'll see what happens, though. I'm gonna have to play it a bit safe here.
Enemy neutralized.
Play it as safe as you need.
Alright.
There you are.
Actually, that's alright. That's a bit nerve-wracking.
That's very serviceable.
Try.
Yeah.
Moving out.
Valkyria has a lot more health than Helmut and better accuracy, but as you can see here...
Enemy neutralized.
Yeah, that's the main benefit of using Salvaria is the health and accuracy. Outside of that, she's not actually a very good unit.
So, very important. I need to put defense boost on Zeri.
Okay, listen close.
Yeah, so
Hunker down.
in the first game, orders were very, very broken. Defense boost in the first game, I believe, is only 1 command point. But in this game, they knew how broken they are, so they were like, 4.
Okay, let's go.
Let's see here. But yeah, the area effect here is that, so normally after a turn, you can recover health. Not so much here.
Enemy spotted.
Yeah, so the snow effect essentially removes the natural regeneration from enemies and yourself at the end of a turn. Natural regeneration is 20% health regenerated, and being in a camp is plus 30%. You can still get the camp healing, but you won't get the 20% regeneration. Tanks and other sort of armored units do not get this natural 20% health regeneration, but they will get the 30% for being in a camp.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, useful Bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
So with Bloodthirsty, Lavinia can attack a second time, but you have the downside of you cannot move between the attacks, so if you're not set up in a good position, you can get what are called useless Bloodthirsties.
Yep, and that's pretty
Yeah. The game knows that Bloodthirsty is really, really good, so it'll often throw you a Bloodthirsty when it's useless.
And this is why we use defense boost.
Yeah. Defense boost is, I believe it's plus 10 defense to all directions, so you can just run through a massive barrage of bullets and give 0 cares.
Let's see here. What did we get? Pretty typical, but yeah, like otherwise, that turret can do a lot of damage. It can also leave AP use up, which,
Yeah, AP use up is like one of the most run-ending things that you could get. It basically makes you use your AP gauge like 2-3 times quicker. It's incredibly painful.
right. That was a decent mission.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for much better though.
Yeah, aside from the sketchy start of turn 2.
Yeah. So into May we go, and well, we go. So every time you get a medal, it's 7 seconds, I believe.
Yes.
And you have this thing called the 7 seconds of shame, which we haven't seen yet. Essentially, if you let a character get hospitalized.
Or your tank destroyed, I believe.
Okay, yeah. If you let your tank get destroyed or a character is hospitalized, you'll get a medal called the Splintered Horn, which just sits in your face for 7 seconds while you're like, this is timeless.
Yep. Okay, so we got our next defend mission.
Luckily, after Valkyria Chronicles 2, they realized Splintered Horn is a very stupid medal to add, so it does not appear in 3 or 4.
Right. And so in the first or fourth game, you have permadeath for your playthroughs. In the second game, you kind of get hospitalized for however many next missions that you do. And third game, you kind of jump into the action right away with the next mission, I think.
Yeah, so hospitalization in the second game, I believe it's 2 or 3 missions. The character is expelled out of the next 2 or 3 missions unless you pay it's a decent fee, I guess. Like, it's something that you shouldn't worry too much about. But in the third game, all that happens if your character is not saved by the end of the mission, or is not saved, or is left just on the ground, and hits the used to be permadeath condition, they just become unavailable for the rest of the mission.
Yeah. So
they knew about making that change because of how difficult the third game is.
Yeah. Oh, there is no shame in dropping the difficulty to easy.
Yeah. And another reason why to play Valkyria Chronicles 2 before 3, 2 will get you in the understanding of, okay, this is what the difficulty is like, and 3 is just like, yeah, we're going to be starting with really high difficulty anyway, and it just gets harder and harder.
Yeah. Alright, so we got our defend mission done. We won't be seeing another one for a while, and yeah, usually I get to relax because a lot is going on, and then the April mission is pretty stressful.
To begin, here is today's news.
Yeah. Defend missions, most of them are just kept to, we get the mission into a stable state and just end turns.
Right. Gotta make sure I do my setup here. So, Hamud and G, and then Avon and... Ah, okay, just making sure. That's really important.
Yeah, so the objective of this mission is to just... Is it 2 camps here?
Yeah, and we get introduced to bunkers.
Yeah, bunkers hurt. There's no other way to say it. Like, their damage ratings are way higher than everything else. Valkyria Chronicles 2 is generally built around like, the balancing is a bit all over the place, because anything that you can gain access to or have an equivalence to is typically balanced for PvP. Yes, this game has multiplayer. It has co-op and versus multiplayer. But anything you don't have access to, so that'd be bunkers, their damage is absolutely ridiculous compared to the standard stuff.
Yeah, so we use defense boost. You can do without it. However, it's very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
And yeah, you really want Yvonne to be a scout veteran. Like, you can get until July, but it's not recommended because that's kind of your cutoff point.
I see one. Okay, let's go.
So I'm gonna grenade launch here.
Yeah, like, Yvonne took a decent amount of damage from that bunker. With the amount of bullets that he did take, just add 10 to each one, and that's how much damage he would have taken without the defense boost.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, they have a high suppression stat.
Yeah, the suppression stat is the APU stuff that we talked about, and if you have any weapons that can do debuffs, because this game has debuffing weapons, the suppression stat will also increase the chance of the debuff being applied. Unlike the first game, where the debuff can apply from a singular stray bullet, that does not happen in the PSP engine, which is good. Which is good, because in the first game, you'd have these troopers that have attack down, and you'd get hit by a single stray bullet from like an interception or counterfire, and then your attack stat has just been absolutely nuked. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, that double kill is always a bit weird to do, so that's why I said a bit awkward.
Yeah. I believe they changed the attack down stat in the PSP games to be no ammo.
Yeah.
Because attack down was moved over to engineers on their pistols.
To begin, here is today's news.
We got Mountain Stronghold, which we actually get to destroy a bunker for the first time, and they have a lot of health.
Yeah, bunkers are essentially tanks that can't move and can only fire in a singular direction. They have radiators on their back, and you hit the radiator, they take massive damage. Standard radiator damage multiplier in the PSP games is 5x, and then is 5x or plus 400 defense, and then there's also a radiator resistance stat, which will reduce the percentage boost by the radiator resistance. So if something had a radiator resistance of 150, they would take 3.5 times damage due to, instead of taking plus 400%, would be plus 250. However, there are some enemies in the game where the developers forgot to actually apply a radiator resistance stat to where it will then take the multiplier based on their interception cone. And I believe it's there's a post-game mission where the developers missed this, and it causes the radiator multiplier to instead be the 5x to be 5x to become 270x, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I believe that's also in the... I recently checked, and I also believe that glitch exists in Ultimate Challenge, but instead of 270, it's only 90
Yeah, ultimate
because
challenge.
of the hardest mission in the game. I wouldn't say it's actually the hardest, it's the second hardest now, because you got Cerulean Catastrophe as well.
Yeah, I believe like that's the true difficult one because it has a type of unit we will not be seeing at all in the main game.
Yeah.
So you thought the V2s were bad. There are these things called ghost tanks.
And they basically just end you. They do not want to see you. They will kill you, they will hurt you, and they're incredibly bulky.
Yeah. That was
And
decent.
and for ghost tanks, I started working on like a spreadsheet on this is how to efficiently destroy a ghost tank. And I've got different classes with different setups, with different sort of buffs, and calculated how can I take out a ghost tank. And one of our characters that we like, called Noel, or Noelle, she can almost one-shot a ghost tank if you buff her correctly. I believe I've gotten within 200 damage.
So we got our next story mission. On with the tournament arc.
Yeah, because there's a tournament arc for all this, called the Levertine Cup. And we are going, I believe it's the semi-finals?
Yep,
Against, I think, is this Class C?
I think so. It's been so long since I've really looked at the story.
Yeah, I believe it's Class C in
Yeah.
this mission, because I've talked to you a little bit about like if the game was to get a remaster, how you could incorporate some of the DLC missions into
Yeah.
like, or you could incorporate the DLC missions to not be DLC anymore. So yeah, this mission's pretty easy. Oh, whoa.
I was trying to pull up a screenshot. I'll be
Yeah,
fine.
mine's have magnets, right? They can pull us on it.
I was just trying to switch to my screenshot. Do not recommend. I should have. Whatever. I know what I'm doing.
The objective of this mission is to just destroy a tank, which, because our tank deals insane damage now, shouldn't be a problem.
Right. Let me.
I'm guessing you were pulling up your screenshot of your grenade launch.
Yeah, I've been playing this game for a long time. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so by reversing the tank, you can thread the needle and destroy the tank. Oh look, mission's done.
Yep.
Very easy.
All right. We got our next R&D trip.
Yeah, next R&D trip, and we're also going to be checking if we've got some veteran upgrades we can make.
Yeah. I already have them, but it's just I just want the muscle memory.
Yeah. Doing pretty good time right now.
Yeah.
Nothing's necessarily gone too poorly.
To begin,
Hopefully that's we'll see about that.
Hopefully it goes like that for the rest of the run, but this is VC2. The game can just be like, no, if it wants to.
Yeah, and that's the very nature of this game.
Yeah. So this R&D is just going to be upgrading our core weapons to level 5, our grenades to level 4, uniforms to level 4, and for lancers, their blast armor to level 3.
Yeah, we have a lot that we need to do here. Alright, so uniform 3. There's a lot.
Yeah. Soon we will be seeing armor techs, but not right now.
That was pretty decent.
Hey, that was the menus cooperated.
you're here.
Alright, and I can hit square just to snap me back to the briefing room.
Ah, Avon. How can I help you today?
Oh boy!
Yeah. Excellent optimization with the sort of default position.
Alright, let me just focus. Alexis D. Up on C. Zeris. And Anisette.
Yep. So this is the first time we're deploying armor techs. All that they do is they stand ground and effectively hold a camp.
Alright, hopefully this goes well.
Zeri has learned his potential, right?
I'm not sure. Potential
Let's
sickness.
go.
Yeah, so because we haven't seen it yet, this game does have a system called potential sickness. It is probably one of the most frustrating things that exists if you're doing a casual playthrough. What potential sickness is, essentially, when you change between your classes, there is a 25-point completely hidden system that you cannot see, that you have absolutely zero indicator of if this value's gone down, where a character will not learn their slot 3 potential. And if you're saying, what's the slot 3 potential? Characters have 3 different battle potentials, and then a 4th, which you can freely use to anything that they've learned. The first potential is character specific. This will always be on that character and will never change.
Follow me.
Their second potential is the class specific, where between the classes that they go between, they will always stick. And then the third one is the learned potential. And learned potentials, you have, as mentioned, you have to get rid of the 25-point system before you can start learning the potential. And if you've ever tried to unlock Dud Mine and wondering why am I not unlocking it on the character even though I know they can learn it, they might be stuck behind potential sickness. It's the most frustrating feature in the game.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I say it's the most frustrating because it's never told to you.
yeah. Oh, that is a bit stressful dealing with the bunker and having to just snap to either the slight right or the slight left.
Yeah. To reduce potential sickness, every single time you select the character, the point counter will go down by 1. Every single time you defeat an infantry unit, that point counter goes down by 2. And when you defeat a tank, the point counter will go down by 3.
Well, of course.
The type of tactical RPG system they use here is what they call Blitz, the battle
Let's get her
in
done.
live tactical zones. Yeah,
Yep.
that is correct.
Yep.
Although this is a PSP Blitz and not the PC Blitz because there's significant overhauls in the PSP engine.
Yep. I think we have a defend mission after this, so I can actually make sure that I have my grenade launch screenshots on the right place.
Yeah.
Well, we're about an hour in.
So all that we need to do is we need to just scoot the ABC to the end zone, which is at the top in Area 3. And frustratingly, the APC does not actually have the off-road ability. So if you're driving on soft sand, you will use way more AP to move.
Wait, are you sure? I mean, it's still orange.
Yeah, that's not soft sand though.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's like sort of a sandstone. And there we go, we've shifted the APC to the end of the mission.
That went well.
The rendering engine used is called Canvas, which give our environmental effect and pencil shaded look. Yep, the Canvas engine is beautiful. If you've ever played Valkyria Chronicles 1 on the PS3, you will know that graphically that game is fantastic. It looks like a painting in motion. I love the Canvas engine.
Avon, how can I help you today?
Wait, we got another defend mission.
I still think, like, even though Valkyria Chronicles 1 is a PS3 game and it's fairly dated, it still looks absolutely beautiful, even on a PS3, where it's 720p to this day. Like, I absolutely love it. So yeah, defend mission, all that we need to do is defend the base camp. Yeah, it's definitely a nice look. I agree, Windless. Defend mission objective is just destroy the tank that's in our face, and then skip turns. The enemy will try to place mortars to, well, to no effect, and occasionally they will blow up their own units, which is actually bad because it's slow.
Right, let's get her done.
Alright, we should be good. Let me go ahead and switch my screenshots around.
And because we've got the mission into a stable state, all that we're going to be doing is going to be skipping phases.
Alright, should be good here. These orders just take so much time. Yeah, I mean, there is so much that I kind of welcome these defend missions. Double check here.
Yeah, defend missions are a nice break from the sort of rushing missions. As you can see in Area 1, they've accidentally blown up one of their allies by seeing a second black cross. And black crosses indicate where enemies have been defeated.
Yeah, and how many enemies can it be in an area?
In an area that... Oh, goodbye, Scout. In an area there can be up to 7 enemies at one time. And knowing this as players, we can exploit this mechanic, which we will be seeing in August.
Yep.
You can see the numbers above the enemy units, like 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 9. Oh, they keep blowing themselves up.
The enemy AI isn't exactly the smartest.
Yeah, the reason why the enemy blowing themselves up wastes time is because then they have a additional slot open to where they can bring in more reinforcements. So you'll see like enemy reinforcements have arrived. That's where the time loss happens if they nuke themselves. There goes another scout!
This is unusually bad.
Yeah, most of the time you don't want them targeting the center area in Area 1.
And so, you've been seeing me mash. You can skip the enemy and player phase text animations. It's about a second or two each, and you can skip with any button.
Yeah, so if you hear controller mashing, that's what's happening.
Okay, and then I believe I'm just losing my words. It's a long run.
I just had a fort of Forest Guardians in the New Game Plus All missions. You'd probably end up turning that into a kill all.
Yeah.
Because you've only got 2 areas to care about, a kill all might actually be faster than skipping all those phases.
How
Yeah.
can I help you
Alright, the
today?
impregnable APC.
Yeah. With the objective of destroy that APC.
Yeah. Alright. Just double check here.
Luckily, we have a tank that does a lot of damage.
But first, I need to turn around a turret.
Yeah.
You can do without it, however, you can get some pretty bad luck.
Lose. I see you there.
Alright, that looks good.
Moving out.
Yeah, so interception cones in this game,
Crisis is a
I
turning
believe
point.
turrets
Right
have,
now.
I believe it's 90 degrees, but they have a very, very long range on them.
Yeah. Let's gonna
Uh,
play it safe here.
But then you'll later see cannon towers that have a 270 degrees interception cone. And scouts also have 270 degrees. The AT bunker, it only has an anti-tank turret, so it will not actually be able to attack Avan.
Yep.
This gives us an advantage.
Now that we've captured into Area 3, we can just blast away the APC and then complete the mission.
Alright, hopefully I get
I see you there.
Careful.
it. Boom.
Goodbye APC, and that's that mission done.
Alright, so we got a two-parter for our story missions.
Yes. June's story mission, there's 2 of them, which there's a couple months that have 2.
Yeah. And this one's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. The first one is basically, can you run 10 feet?
Right.
Or-
Again. Here is today's
I say 10 feet, it's a little bit more, but
Yeah. So,
it's just a very short distance.
yeah, the game wants you to flip some switches in other areas so you can get to the goal point in one of the areas. However, there's a literal opening.
Yeah, there's an opening, but that opening is guarded by a bunker, which will be hitting us from the rear and dealing absolutely insane damage. And 2 tanks, which normally you should not be able to run through. But Avan is a scout, and we're going to be defense boosting him.
Right. I can still get hit by APU sub.
This mission is also at night, and bunkers like to ignore the night condition, so
Listen close. Hold fast. Hunker down.
that's what makes it even more dangerous.
Yep, time to look at the ground like it's a GoldenEye 007 run.
Moving out. Enemy spotted.
Yeah, I mean, look at all these mines that are placed there, it's insane. And yeah, that's the mission. That's world record.
Yep, world record.
I couldn't imagine, like, frame grinding this mission to...
No, just no.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like, that's the Archives 15, I think it's 15.
I think, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, that's the Archives 15 of Valkyria Chronicles 2.
How can I help you today?
But yeah, so you have your main trio, Avan, Cosette, and Zeri, and so we're going to Cosette's hometown to free this town from the rebels. There is a very dumb story point where Cosette is colorblind. Also, she doesn't do really well with blood, so she struggles to mend and aid other civilians. So Avan has an idea of how he's going to help her and force her to help him and help others. And Avan shoots
Enemy
himself.
spotted. I see one. Enemy spotted.
Yeah, it's a very, very strange plot point
Enemy spotted.
where Ivan's like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot myself, look at me.
Coming at you.
Please don't do that, that's not a good thing to do.
Yeah, dumbest moment in gaming for me.
It's one of them.
Yeah,
It's definitely a moment. And yeah, so Cosette is colorblind, and I'm not exactly sure which colorblindness she has, but she can't see red.
right, it's black and white.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she has a full
You're through.
colorblindness.
Yeah. Oh.
There is a cutscene that explains this where her room is absolutely insane.
That was good.
Yeah.
See, I took a lot of health and the purple juice or whatever.
Yeah, the purple drank, as I like to call it, absolutely shreds your defense. Like, it the difference of being in the purple drink and not in it is absolutely huge. In that post game, you'll clash. That's it. In that post game mission, the damage from being in the purple drink is absolutely insane. So trying to avoid getting hit in that as much as possible is very important.
Ah, Avon. How can I
Yeah,
help
we
you
got 4
today?
missions that we have to do in this month.
But yeah, the cutscene where Yvonne goes into Cosette's room and it's just an absolute like assault on the eyes with how many colors there are. That explains a little bit more behind Cosette's colorblindness.
Yeah.
And I believe the cutscene is called Cosette's Technicolor Room.
Yep. We got our supply crate mission. What is this? Number 2, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, supply crates too. Does this one have 5?
4. I think.
Okay. It's 4 or 5.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so again, typically we scan through the area. If there's missions where it's possible to not do an area, we will scan through the areas to check where there's crates or not.
Enemy sighted. No hostile found.
Oh,
While yeah, while the crates do have random positions of where they can spawn, like throughout all the areas, where the crates are fixed, where they can possibly spawn. So we know where they all are. There we go.
Alright, we got
Didn't
our escort mission.
Didn't have to touch a singular area because there's only 4 crates.
Yeah.
That was as fast as you could ask for actually in that mission. That was the best possible crate luck.
Yeah.
To
Alright.
begin, here is today's
Bit nervous
news.
about this escort mission.
Avon, how can I help you?
Yeah. Escort mission shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. It's just nerves, that's all. Fucking. Yeah.
So Rakim's just going to be holding the area 4 camp to make sure that we don't lose by our main camp being captured, while everyone else is going to be doing their stuff.
Get this out of the way here.
Right. Let's get her done. I see you there. Hostile spotted.
Strike the enemy's blind spot.
So we're using the APC here to block off the bunker from being able to properly attack Maximilian.
Okay, that should be good.
That was fine. Then we weave Maximilian. Oh! Let's go. This is why Maximilian is the best beginning Lancer, because he has 2 potentials that can increase his damage and no negative potentials. So that saved us a command point there. Normally that would take 2 actions.
Right.
Maximilian's so good.
He is. Alright, I am just going to deal with the APC.
Right. Let's get her done. All right, kids. Follow me.
Wandering Mind does not like moving the camera.
Negligence can be lethal out there. Stay sharp.
Okay, let's go. A crisis is a turning
I'm not sure if saving the command point changes like any actions throughout the mission,
Yeah.
but
Should I heal?
you should be fine. You're in camp, right?
Yeah. Alright.
You'll get 20% back.
Okay, good.
Sorry, you get 30% back.
It's Area 1.
Yeah. Like, you should have the APC on full health when it becomes your turn, or near full health.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, Lancer. Great.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, I feel great.
I mean, if you do the repair now, your health is going to be in a better place than it was beforehand. So
Yeah, I agree.
Coming at you.
So yeah, a nice grenade launcher. When we do a when a grenade launcher is performed, you can look at the enemy's info box in the top left, and if the flag is gone, that means they're out of the count.
Yeah.
Here
Very
I go.
unfortunate with the Lancer. That usually does not happen.
Yeah.
Thanks, kid. Right, let's get her done.
Ooh.
That was a good backup though.
Yep. Be thinking on the fly. That's very essential to
Right,
doing
let's
well
get her done.
in this run.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Cosette? Should I leave her behind? Place her behind?
Yeah, I mean, you should be fine, no?
Yeah, I should be. Okay, here we go. But I keep Yvonne in the other camp just in case.
Yeah. If anything, you just spam a couple more target modes than usual to delay bullets.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, I should be fine.
Yeah.
Right, let's get her
Alright,
done.
let me just focus here.
Hostile spotted. I see
Oh,
you there.
okay, come on.
Yeah, the geometry in this game can get a little weird at times to where you can just get stuck behind like tiny little corners and such.
Yeah, also, you have to wait for the enemies you knocked over to stand up before you can end your action.
Yeah, because Wandering Mind displays the Lancer there, you have to wait for the Lancer's position to be reset before you can end the action.
I'm rolling out.
That can be very frustrating at times because you just want to go fast.
Yeah. I am very happy with how that went.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for much better there. Especially with doing the backup. Wasn't actually necessary, but be more safe than sorry, you know?
Yeah, alright, I'm just trying to remember... Do I bring Yvonne to the gold camp?
To begin, here is today's news.
I can... Sometimes it's just, there's so much that it can be hard to keep track of things.
Yeah, because those two troopers that were in front of our APC in the final area could have very easily been Lancers.
Bungie... I think I'm gonna bring Yvonne to the bottom camp because he's a veteran.
Yeah, having that veteran is like very, very nice on Navarre.
Yeah. I mean, you can either bring Yvonne to the middle camp or the bottom camp.
Moving out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel great.
Yeah. Just because there may be an enemy unit in the way.
A crisis is a turning point, right, bro?
You get a nice stat boost for becoming a veteran class. Like, Yvonne's health is over 300 now, which is quite a lot.
Hopefully that looks good. Actually, that usually
Okay, let's
doesn't
go.
happen. Okay. Gonna be a bit awkward.
Coming at you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dang it, Yvonne, that's gonna sting a little bit. But yeah, sometimes if you can get close enough to the enemy, you can change your target registry from front to side, or sometimes even front to rear. The target registry system isn't flawless.
Yeah, that was just very unfortunate.
Things a bit easier.
Roger.
Take them on one by one.
Roger.
I'm a bit nervous. That usually doesn't happen.
You're in the way.
But that looks good here.
Yep, you got that commando out, that's nice.
And then we have our tank.
I'm rolling out.
And this is a significant reason why having the light tank B is important, because turn economy in this mission can get pretty tight.
This should look good.
Go down.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, reversing into that corner there is a setup to get a clear shot on enemies that are in the camp.
Entering combat. From the top.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, the versus personnel boost.
You're in the way.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes happen, like,
Well, of course.
that's just the nature of the game.
That's also the nature of a 3.5 hour to 4 hour run.
Yeah, I do feel bad about that. I shouldn't be too hard on myself. Like, you can just do it either way, because, I mean, you're gonna have to spend 2 actions otherwise. Like, if you bring Helmut to the middle camp, it's 2 actions.
Yeah.
To begin, here is today's news.
Alright.
Ah, Avon. How can I help you today?
So, I get to do a blind shot here.
And by blind shot, because of the night condition, Wandering Mind will not be able to see the enemy. But the tank does so much damage that, and has such high accuracy, that this blind shot is fairly reliable. So the objective here is, of course, to capture the camp that's in Area 1, and we are going to build a bridge and take a blind shot here to take out the trooper that's in the camp.
Cute.
And a useless bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Thanks, game.
Okay, let's go.
I believe there's always a trooper in the camp. Like, I don't think there's ever not been one, because there are certain force spawns that will always happen.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna use Anisette. So Anisette, we use her a lot just because versus personnel boost and country bred.
Yeah.
Enemy spotted. I found one.
That's good.
Well, of course.
Better than anticipated.
Entering combat. I'll show you what a star can
And neutralize. There we go. Anisette's learned her potential as a trooper.
Great, we got our story mission, but first I have an upgrade trip that I gotta do.
Yep. So, short upgrade trip here. We're going to be going to the drill grounds to do some level ups. And importantly, the leveling in the Valkyria Chronicles series is typically done by breakpoints. So if there's
To begin, here is
potentials
today's
or
news.
orders we can learn, we will hit those specific levels.
Trooper 17. And then, what was it?
Lancer to 8.
Yes.
So the Lancer to 8 is a breakpoint for demo boost.
All right, that earns you clearance
Which,
for a
if you know demo boost from previous games, it's very broken. Unlike Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4, however, the level up system does not make your units become the Trooper Elite, or like, they don't become elite classes, it's just stat ups. Occasionally in Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4, level ups will also be used to become elite, or sometimes to get battle potentials, as the battle potential system are. The battle potential systems in 1 and 4 are very different to the PSP games.
Alright, so we're gonna see demo boosts here.
Yeah, demo boost, I believe it's plus 100 damage to your versus armor rating.
Yeah.
But the way the plus 100 damage works is it gets added to just the base rating. So if a trooper uses it, it applies to all 20 bullets of the trooper, which causes tons and tons of damage.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make sure I pull out my Ragnade. Alright, here we go.
Enemy spotted. I found one.
Just gonna be on the safe side. Like, you just want to play it safe, son. And
Yeah, Ragnade in VC2 only heals by 60, unlike 100 from Valkyria Chronicles 1.
Alright, okay, there we go.
You're in the way.
Oh, that was good.
Nice.
I found one.
Yeah, remember the one marathon run where it got blocked because that was...
Oh, you were too close to the tank. Yeah, but his demo boost didn't work. It's kind of broken.
So there.
Alright, here we go. Enemy knocking is inconsistent.
Yes, enemy displacement is very, very inconsistent. And our objective is to displace Juliana. Which,
Okay. Oh! Oh boy.
nice! And then you just
Nope.
shoot her in the back of the head with the tank. You got the displacement, you didn't displace out of the camp though. Oh, that's wonderful.
Alright, I got it. As long as I get my backup, it's not a big deal.
Let's get down, you.
Alright, so we are officially done with the first half of the game.
Yeah, that's about half of the game.
I mean, time-wise, not so much, but as far as, like, difficulty and just overall, yeah.
To begin, I
The
have a
difficulty
new
is gonna ramp
song
up.
to all of you.
Yeah, and congratulations, you've won this trophy.
Woo!
Well done. It's not very important to the plot any further.
Right, and there are some subplots which we completely skip.
Yeah. So now we're to probably a month that walls a lot of casual players, which is August, because it has probably one of the most frustrating and difficult missions
Ah, Avant.
to this point, and I would even say throughout the entire story it's probably one of the toughest missions.
August 1. Every grenade... Every mission in August has a grenade launch of some point. Funny.
Except the story mission.
Right. Yeah, so this is a kind of a near repeat of a mission we did not too long ago.
Yeah, that's something, it's definitely something you'll see throughout Valkyria Chronicles 2 is there's not many variations of maps. I think there's only like 13 or 15. And they have a catalogue of 201 missions over that map spread.
What?
Oh no.
No!
So that gunner did this thing called a dodge, which is the worst thing that can possibly happen.
I got a backup.
Moving out.
That has never happened before. There, I said it!
Are you gonna
I don't lose.
I got
shoot him in
Zeri.
the back with Zeri?
Yeah, oh boy. Here we go. Yeah, heavy gunners are a new kind of unit in this part of the game.
Yeah, gunners will, when they attack or lead an attack, I should say, they will attack with their bullets in a spread of an arc. But when they're doing interception, they will send all their powerful bullets straight forward. They deal incredibly high damage.
Yeah. Oh.
And their evade ratings are much higher than standard enemies.
gonna get in position here.
Luckily, with this mission, you're given plenty of actions to safely just get through.
Hopefully I get this. This should look good. That I was a little bit off. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, some of these grenade launches, I would say it's more to do them. It is very much a feeling and throwing in sometimes an hour on individual grenade launchers.
Yeah.
You can get a feeling of how they function, but sometimes they make absolutely zero sense.
Yeah, I mean, typical run is probably gonna miss one or two of them. What do you say?
To begin,
Yeah, maybe even 3 isn't too far out of the question.
Yeah.
But there's definitely sort of a range of 2 to 3 that you'll
Avon,
end up messing up
how can I
because
help you today?
there's so many you're doing and each one kind of functions differently. If you've ever seen like a Silent Hill 1 run where there's a joke about you have to learn how every door works, because every door it functions very differently for some reason. That's grenade launchers in this game.
Yeah.
And of course, for those that are playing Valkyria Chronicles 3, grenades have to work exactly the same, so transitioning between the two games isn't too difficult to do so.
Right.
Let's go.
So now we're in Yule, but it's not dark.
Yeah, we
I
have.
think this is the first mission in Yule that doesn't have like the dark
Right,
state.
but
on it.
lightning rods.
Yes. So at the end of the player's, I believe it's the enemies phase, lightning rods will get electrocuted and they deal incredibly high damage, which is really, really dangerous.
Right. Hopefully this.
Coming at you.
And there's one mission
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
I think there's one mission in VC3 where you can just get RNG'd by a lightning rod, and it makes the mission like 10 times more difficult.
All right.
Yeah, usually I get the grenade launch. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it's for VC3 that mission that has the lightning rods in chapter 18.
Yeah. So far, would you say I've been doing good on this run?
This has been a solid run, like no absolutely disastrous mistakes.
My pleasure, sir.
Like, you can practice, but you're still gonna have a few scuffs here and there.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself.
So we need to destroy that supply vehicle because there is a V2 unit in the camp, and trying to take out a V2 unit during the story progression is basically stop, what are you doing, please do not do this.
Yeah.
I see you
Just
there.
make- Oh boy.
Eat this.
You can only really defeat V2 units with the absolute best post-game weaponry in the game.
Right, and then I'm gonna knock this guy out.
Keep an eye on your rear as well.
Yeah, that was just a bit unfortunate. Just want to play it safe.
Engaging.
Yeah, it's always good to play it safe when necessary.
Yeah, so sandbag placement and landmine placement determines how far the tank can be deployed.
Yeah. There's some really creative, like, intentional displacement strats that I've come up with,
And
to where, like, you can block certain spawns.
Eat this. Enemy silence.
alright, oh boy, alright.
it's time to start a step. Because these V2 units, we're going to leave them powered and charged, and we're just going to constantly enter and leave target mode with Anisette to get through the area without being tapped by them. Wandering Mind is very, very good at starter stepping compared to me. I'm not very good at it. So every time I see a starter step being done, I'm just like, wow, I wish I could actually do this.
Many years of practice.
Yeah. I think like most of my starter stepping comes through VC3 and the timing is a little bit different, so
Yeah,
I'm used to the VC3 timing.
yeah. That was pretty unfortunate placement in the last area, though.
Yeah.
To begin, here is today's news.
The supply vehicle there could have very easily hit Anisette with AP usage up, and that would have absolutely destroyed the mission.
So, Avon G, and then Anisette E, and then Zeri. Here we go.
Yeah, so we've gone into Devil Mountains, and this time it's at night. And at night, Devil Mountains has the snowstorm effect, where regular snow would would not give you your natural regeneration on infantry units. The snowstorm effect will reduce the amount of phases you have to save your units if they're downed by 1, which means you basically have to save them instantly if you don't want them to go to hospital.
Focus here.
Okay, let's go. Let me at him. I see one.
Boy. Alright.
I see one.
Doing. Well, okay. No landmine.
The attack down shouldn't matter too much,
Okay, let's go.
because we're going to be using a grenade, and as long as you deal 1 point of damage with a grenade, you can still displace units out of the camp.
I hope I got it right. No. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
that's gonna be really difficult now with your attack down.
I don't know what happened there. I'm gonna end this first game.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Well, I did well up until that point, huh?
Yeah, that's just VC2 being VC2.
At least it was early on.
Yeah. Oh, troopers do have attack down. Wow. I thought they had something else. They didn't give them to engineers yet.
Avon, how can I help you today?
I don't know what's been happening with this. Usually I get these.
Yeah, although you did get that weird bug during the practice yesterday where the gun sound effects still played for an hour after.
Yeah.
That was funny, and I've never seen that one before.
I mean, I didn't lose too much time, right?
No, that was a fairly quick reset. That'd be like a minute and a bit, maybe.
Yeah, like, to get a run all the way to the end without any game overs is rather difficult.
Okay, listen close.
Yeah. Again, that's just having that fencer in the camp and being hit by the attack down is absolutely disastrous for your damage.
Yep.
No attack down this time.
All right.
And you got the sniper spawn. Nice.
I hope I got this.
That should be kill anyway because it's a sniper. So yeah, that was an instance of like the spawn randomness being able to say no by giving you a fencer instead of a sniper.
I found one.
The demolish boost makes this AT bunker go bye-bye, and then shouldn't be too much else to do here.
Alright, I'm gonna pull my Ragnate just for faster aiming.
I found one.
And goodbye, command tank. There we go.
Yeah, I think what happened was that my positioning was a little bit off for the Mauler. Like,
Yeah,
it's very precise.
yeah. As I said, like some grenade launchers are, it's all the feeling and getting used to how they properly function.
Alright, we got
To
our
begin,
another
here's
major
today's
difficulty
news.
spike coming up. So there's like a school festival, and while you'd think things go well, and then the rebels attacked.
Yeah, nice tower you have in the middle of your school.
Yeah, it got rammed by a dirigible. Is that how you say it?
I think so. My English is terrible,
Me
even though
too.
I'm from that country.
Yeah. Alright, let me just and then Morris F. Yeah.
So yes, defending the school. This is a defend mission, and our objective is to defend for 8 turns. We are also going up against V2 units, which is unfortunate. But this is where we're going to be exploiting the area limit 7 mechanic, where there can only be 7 enemies in each area. So the objective is kill nothing.
Yeah.
And we are just going to
Understood.
set up the tank into area 1 and our 2 techs into area 2.
Okay.
And that should be good.
Yeah, I just wanted to check, and I'm gonna leave it on this area.
Yeah. Because I believe it's on turn 5. What will happen is if there is space in area 1 or area 2, the enemy will drop a supply vehicle to make these V2 units that are unpowered, make them powered, and they'll basically just steamroll you.
Yeah.
But if we kill nothing, like we're doing here, they can't bring in the supply vehicle.
Yeah, as long as they don't kill one of their units by accident, like that one marathon run.
Yeah, that's happened before. Where I believe it was a sniper got defeated by a V2 unit, and then it opened up a slot in area 2 where the V2s now become powered and they have gigantic laser cannons to kill you. It's not fun.
Nope. But yeah, one game over is still pretty. I mean, like I said, to get to the end of a run with enough RNG working well enough and no game overs, and on top of getting past the 30-minute mark is difficult. Like, this run is not easy.
Yeah, it's a lot of adaptability to what can happen, and ooh, you're looking good still.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't look near empty.
Yeah, because you get 50% back for being in camp.
And I'm crouched.
Yeah, which luckily prevents headshots.
Should be fine. We have 8 turns of this, but yeah, so in the story, there is major whiplash and a very jarring tone shift where it turns out that the reason why everyone was placed in different classes was due to aptitude for a secret program where students would be turned into artificial Valkyria. And what happened was that the head of the rebels was working with a scientist and the headmaster to develop these weapons. The rebel leader took part of the plans and made his own V2 units. And the rival, Juliana, kind of defrosts as a character, and kind of there's a teasing of a possible relationship with Zeri, However, she volunteers to be an artificial Valkyria, and she fights a bunch of V2 units. However, mortally wounded by Dirk, this mysterious unit who turned out to be Yvonne's brother, who had mysteriously disappeared. And so, because of the surprise attack, rebels make huge advances, and they make it to the capital, Rengries, where they put Cordelia in jail. And so Gilbert Gasnarl, who's like the head of the rebels, it's like, let's turn over Gallia to the Federation. But Baldrin is like, nope, shoots his father and takes over, and kind of goes along with purging Gallia of Darkstone.
Yep, and that's how to complete that mission without doing much input at all.
I know that was a mouthful, but I tried my best.
Yep, if you're wanting to do that mission normally, good luck. It's pretty
I
rough.
have a new award to
Yeah.
pass on to all of you.
And now to go into another 8-turn defend mission.
I think it's 6 turns? I forgot.
No, October's the 6 turns.
Right.
I'm reading these notes, and there's some pretty funny stuff in there for September.
Yeah, for some, I got distracted. I forgot to skip a
Here's
cutscene
today's
right away.
news.
There's a
Luckily,
lot.
yeah, there's a lot of cutscenes that are stocked up, and luckily within the series you can skip every single cutscene. It's a smart thing they introduced in the first game and has stayed here ever since. Final Fantasy X, when are you getting a actual official patch that allows you to skip cutscenes?
Alright. So, height bonus.
Yeah, so another mechanic that which we haven't explored too much with our commentary is height advantage. Essentially, if you have a greater height than your opponent, or your opponent has greater height than you, you'll be getting a slight damage boost. And you'll also take less damage because of height, because if you have additional height bonus as well. So normally, Lavinia wouldn't be able to destroy that heavy tank, but with the height bonus, she can.
Right.
Enemy silent.
You can either kill the heavy gunner or leave it for another turn. I personally like to get rid of it right away.
I'm rolling out.
Yeah. And you also have to be careful of that scout at the top of this area, because what that scout will do is, I believe it tries to ninja your camp if you
Down you
let it, or it will ninja the spawn area in Area 5 if you let it free.
Yeah, but we block this pathway.
Yeah.
But with the way that we're positioned, you'll be facing us from behind. Which
Yeah.
is what we want.
Because aces have
I'm rolling
can have unusually high evade rates, like sometimes they can go into the 90s. Because he's not looking at us, we get a safe kill on him and we can just skip turns.
Right. And we have Alexis and the other camp. But we
Yeah,
block
Alexis
the
is just
pathway.
gonna hold area 2.
Yeah.
I believe that scout will try to also break the line in Area 5, but you can just use your tank again to blast his face.
Yep. I'm gonna get rid of him.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get her done.
You can't get this mission in a perfectly stable, like, where you can just constantly skip turns. Like, it's not 100% reliable. So, essentially, anything we need to defeat will get defeated.
Yeah.
And now, I believe there are 7 enemies in Area 5 now, so no additional spawns can happen.
Right. Yeah, and these turns go by very quickly.
Yeah, with the quote instant enemy phase, a lot of stuff is actually pre-calculated with how they're going to move. So if you can essentially keep their actions really short, the instant enemy phase is close enough to instant. And because of all the pre-calculations, they often do cut a couple corners with accuracy and hit rates sometimes. So, and this was discovered in Valkyria Chronicles 3 with the Chapter 4, with the final mission in Chapter 4, where you've got some super nasty unit that can deal incredibly high damage. But if you park right in front, if you just leave your APC right in front of his face, he'll only land 2 bullets. When normally he can shoot up to 16.
Alright. Oh,
So
boy.
this is just another capture the camp mission. There's a lot of them in the series, and hey, everyone knows the famous Galleon Baker wins war from Valkyria Chronicles 1.
Let's see what type of enemy spawns I get here.
Yeah, so this can be a bridge of death where you can get a really nasty spawn. That's not too bad, you've got 1 trooper.
Right.
I don't lose.
Nope.
Nothing to get wild about.
I'm guessing there's a V2 there.
Of course.
Yeah. Nice grenade. So yeah, that bridge can be incredibly dangerous because you can either get scouts or troopers. Sometimes I think you can even get lancers there. But troopers are effectively the super dangerous spawn, while scouts are a bit more tame.
Enemy spotted. I see one. I see
There is a
That's
decent.
awful.
Oh,
That was terrible luck.
that trooper is nasty. You have a backup for this, right?
Yeah. Oh, this is so unfortunate.
Don't afford the enemy an opening.
That usually does not happen.
Oh no.
I don't know if we can actually be able to. Do you think I should reset?
If you think that'll be quicker or more reliable, sure.
That's actually terrible. That usually does not happen.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate spawn with the trooper there, and how many bullets he landed on Ivan is crazy.
Yeah, like, there is really no safe way to do this.
How can I help you today?
But that's VC2 being VC2, and now you have to also do another Bridge of Death.
Yeah.
Hopefully the bridge spawns will be a bit kinder this time,
I hope.
and then you got the barn spawn as well.
moving out.
Like, that is unusually bad.
Lose. I don't lose.
Oh, free bridge, nice.
Watch and learn. I feel amazing.
So yeah, Zeri just got advanced attack.
I don't lose.
Alright, what do you think? Should I hang to the edge or should I claim sandbags to deal with the trooper?
Your decision, huh?
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Okay, let's go. Enemy
I
spotted.
may have to do things on the fly. That's...
I see one.
You didn't get the spawn this time, nice.
Follow the front guard.
But yeah, that's another instance of just random spawns. This time it just didn't happen, and you had a completely free bridge as well.
Yeah, the game gives and takes away the RNG.
I see one.
I'm gonna focus here. Yes!
Nice 7-10 split on the double commando. That grenade throw there is actually really difficult. The precision on that, where you need to like throw the grenade to get that sort of split, is pretty tight.
Yeah, there's no good frame of reference.
Again, it's all feeling with how the grenades work.
Alright, that's actually good. We have no supply vehicle.
Yeah.
Of course. Impressive work. Taking the stage.
Like a spawn like this for this mission is what you would really want to be looking for in like a run.
Yeah.
Not the previous spawn, which was just fairly safe bridge, and then just that trooper spawn right there was horrible in the barn.
Looks like we have one more
To
regular
begin,
mission.
Here is today's news.
Yeah, we got the September escort mission.
Hold on. How can I help
Again,
you today?
Again, we're picking between escort mission or defeat all, and escort missions, while they are slow, they are way faster than the defeat all mission. Defeat all missions, keeping in mind like an enemy, 7 enemy cap in each area is really useful, but with instant turn speed, that can be quite difficult to track, as you don't know if you're picking up kills, you don't know where additional enemy spawns are coming in from camps. And often it will lead to one enemy hiding in grass that you completely missed. And yeah.
Alright, looks good. We have the APC over here. Yeah, if it spawned to the south, I would have just deployed a Lancer and just shoot from far away and hope it worked.
I see one.
But yeah, so this is where we see cannon towers for the first time.
Yeah, cannon towers are incredibly dangerous enemies that can exist. Because, one, they get an innate height bonus because of where their cannon is.
Get her done.
Like, as you can see right there, like, it's really high up in the air, which gets an innate height damage bonus. They have 270 degrees interception cone. Again, very, very dangerous. And they can shoot AT cannon or machine gun turret, so they can hit everything very effectively. And yeah, we'd rather not deal with CTs or cannon towers as much as possible.
Right, okay, there's a landmine on the downslope, so gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, that was good scouting on the downward slope.
Alright, so looks like we're probably gonna have to replace one of our units.
The most annoying thing with having the escort ABZ missions is you don't have access to your super-powered cannon on your tank. Because if you had access to that, you would take out the cannon tower in Area 5 for safety.
Right.
Taking the stage.
Hopefully this should be good. Yes.
Another nice 7-10 split on the grenade.
Yeah, like this mission can go well, or it can go places.
Yeah, having to navigate around the mine there because it was a tank mine and or it was a large mine and they'll deal heavy damage to the tank, APC. Not sure how much, but it might actually have to destroy it.
Alright, should I fix, or do you think I'll be fine with my escort APC health?
I mean, you have the command points to do so, I would
Yeah.
just be safe with it.
Alright.
Understood.
I think you're right.
Over here, quickly.
Considering how this game decided to be towards me.
Yeah. Just be safe with the repair.
Yeah, good call.
I'm ready for anything. Thanks, kid.
Alright, and then I'm gonna end my turn. We should be in the clear.
Especially with the Lancer right behind the APC. You should be fine though, like,
Yeah.
you're going to be holding the camp, and even though it's an APC, it's surprisingly still rather tanky.
Yeah. As you can see here, good call.
I'm rolling out.
I think I made the right call.
Yeah. A good call on the repair there.
Get her done.
You may have just about survived, but you know, you don't want to play super risky in an escort mission because you know, if the APC gets exploded, that's like goodbye 5 minutes or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you can practice as much as you can, but things will still go wrong.
Yeah.
To begin, here is today's
All right.
news.
So, we're gonna get a new character.
Yes, we get everyone's favorite Demon Rat Child.
Yes!
I mean, alias. We call her Demon Rat Child with love because of a PvP match me and Wandering Mind have had, and my alias was absolutely it was an absolute menace throughout the entirety of it. She was hiding in grass. You couldn't flush her out of the grass because she was just being a complete menace.
Yes.
That was it. That was a good match we had, though.
It was.
We've had some very good PvP matches.
Alright, so we got a new map.
Yeah, welcome to Rondell Canyon. Probably the most interesting map layout, in my opinion. Because you've got routes going everywhere throughout each area, and there's so many different approaches you can have to the area, to Rondell Canyon as an area, which makes it really, really awesome.
Down you go.
The objective of this mission is to destroy the Gyrolol, which we initially saw back in UL a couple chapters ago, but now we need to destroy it, and it's an incredibly tanky tank. The Gyrolol's in Area 5, and I believe the tank commander, who is Audrey, will use a all units demolish, which puts a demolition boost on all enemy units, meaning if your tank is out and unprotected, say bye to it. And she can also full target an area where the Gyrolol will use its special cannon to just nuke the entire area and deal fairly heavy damage to everyone that's inside it. And the Demon Rat Child will be doing an edge interception, which is a mechanic
1,
exclusively
2,
in the
3,
PSP
4,
games.
5.
So if you can, so with that gunner there, what Wandering Mind did is stood just outside of the maximum effective range of its weapon, and each bullet would then deal 1 damage. I believe, like, I accidentally discovered this myself, but then I looked it up on a Japanese website, and they call it Intercept 1, which both wordings of Edge Interception and Intercept 1 are very valid for the technique. But essentially, you can let the gunner deplete most of its bullets, and then start running when it's about to reload, so you can get through completely safely.
Yes!
And there's a very useful Bloodthirsty, which will cause this mission to be a 1 turn. There we go. There was so you get 3 rolls for a Bloodthirsty against the Gyro roll, and if you can get one, it turns the mission into a 1 turn, and that saves quite a bit of time. Because you don't have to go through the enemy phase, you don't have to go through Audrey setting up like her attack on a singular area, and you don't have to go into turn 2.
Yeah.
To begin, here is today's news. Avon, how can I help
Last
you
line of
today?
defense.
Yeah, last line of defense. I believe this is another defend mission.
Yeah. Up and then Maximilian. Yeah, so this one has a bit of setup.
Yeah, so you have to defend the line in the construction in the bridge area, and also defend your tank, camp, not tank. But with this line, I don't think you can deploy your tank, so it's going to be quite a bit of setup to get the mission into a stable state.
Yeah. Certain enemies will move and certain ones won't.
Oh, Anisette, yeah, the machine guns, their accuracy is pretty horrendous, and Anisette just showing you right there that sometimes the machine gun doesn't want to shoot as accurately as you want it to. And then sometimes that can happen where it's just like the first 7 bullets pick up the kill straight away.
Right.
And then this is an engineer, which engineers have insanely high evasion rates and are the most frustrating thing in the game. But luckily there was no evade. Luckily, because Anisette is a trooper veteran, she gets 3 grenades instead of 1, which is pretty useful.
Let's get her done. Go down.
Looks good.
Enemy silent. Now we can push forward. Hostile spotted. I see you there. Hostile spotted.
Got an enemy tank.
Eat this.
You can either get APC or a tank.
Yeah, the APC there can be a little bit nasty. It's not too bad, but the tank is going to be way more troublesome to work with.
Yeah, that should be good. Or should I... You know, it'll back up a bit more.
Get her done.
Alright, just double checking here. Everything looks good.
Yeah, does that Lancer try to advance?
No.
Or... Okay. So yeah, the mission is in a stable state for the most part. The APC has moved forward, but that is as planned, because Maximilian will then just pop around the corner and then blast it to smithereens. And as long as the AI doesn't see Maximilian when you end your turn, I don't think they advance.
Right.
If you have Maximilian out and the Lancer at the end of the bridge is able to see Maximilian, then they'll start to advance. It's a typical AI manipulation that exists. If the enemy can't see you, their actions will be a lot shorter.
Unfortunately, we didn't get the quick skip.
Yeah. Area 1's gonna have a little bit of fighting going on.
Yeah, it wastes a tiny bit of time.
Yeah, like if you can get rid of this trooper with the number 7 during the enemy phase, it'll speed up the enemy phase a little bit.
But there we go, we got our last 6th turn.
Yeah. Just got a couple more base camp capturing missions left in October before we head into October story.
Yeah. Alright, sorry. It can be hard. And I press circle to cancel.
To begin, here is today's news. Avon. How can I help?
One thing I don't think we have mentioned is to actually access the main story mission, you have to clear all the red double exclamation mark cutscenes that appear in the overview map of Landseal.
Yeah.
So once you've cleared all the missions in a month, you can then just go to the exclamation marks, the red exclamation marks in Landseal to then unlock the story mission.
Alright, Skogul Menace.
For those that don't know, the Skogul is an anti-tank sniper, or an anti-material sniper rifle, which
Nothing to get riled about.
it can be. They don't deal like massive damage to a regular tank, but they'll hit the APC if you're using an APC quite hard.
Yeah.
Moving out.
And all the snipers you see on the command mode view, they're very, very likely anti-tank snipers for this mission.
Okay, let's go.
Huh.
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted. I see one. Coming at you.
Another 7-10 split with the grenade.
Alright, I'm gonna focus.
I'm rolling
And yeah, you've seen this camp in Area 3 at the top section for like the 3rd time now. You kind of know how we tackle this area at this point.
eat this.
I didn't mean, sorry. That is a bit difficult.
Yeah. It's all good though, you just rush up a trooper to take out the camp. Especially with Anisette, who has 3 grenades if you need to do multiple.
Taking the stage.
Yeah, like, that is a difficult one to get.
You're in the way. So there. Target silenced.
Grenade.
Entering combat.
Alright, that should be fine.
It's still in camp,
I found one.
but you can then just finish him off.
Entering combat. You're in the way. So there.
That was
There we
alright.
go. Good backup.
Yeah. So we got a pretty involved mission coming up.
October 4.
To begin, here is today's news. I've been waiting.
Hey, there we go. Anisette is Commando. There we go. So commandos are just like troopers, but they lose access to their grenade,
Dude,
but they now have
I forgot to do something. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Commandos now have a flamethrower, which flamethrower is very, very good.
Yeah, but yeah, if you do mess up, and you have to go through 2 loading screens to go back.
Yeah. For those that have played the game casually, people tend to lean into using the fences because the fences have insanely high defense and really high power. I came to the revelation that at the highest end of, like, if you're going into like the super post game and wanting the best character outfits, that commandos are the best.
Yeah.
And when I shared that knowledge, Wandering Mind was like, oh wow, yeah, commandos are kind of broken. They are outright the best singular class in the game, in my opinion.
Alright, I'm going to focus here.
I'm rolling out.
So yeah, this is the only time you will see the APC within
See you there.
the story.
I see you there.
And this is specifically because we need the APC for movement in this mission. APC has over 700 AP for its movement, but outside of that, it doesn't really do anything else. Unlike Valkyria Chronicles 3, where the APC is used everywhere because of the map design being more geared towards being... Oh, did you not
That was
park for
unfortunate.
the... Yeah, that happens.
Okay.
Yeah. That should be fine, but there is a 1-turn setup that is pretty precise.
I'm just
Yeah.
getting started.
But it is what it is.
I was about to say that grenade looked a little off to me, but
That was fine.
yeah.
I got a stutter step here.
Watch and learn. I'm in top form. I don't lose.
Yep, so start a step, so we take out the Ragnade, as it has the quickest animation to get out of Zeri's pocket.
Watch and learn. I don't lose. Enemy sighted. I don't lose.
And that's just to avoid the V2 units.
Okay, that's what we want.
That was a really nice grenade there. Doing another 7-10 split on the NG and Fencer. Oh, I realised that was an engineer. They could have very easily dodged.
Get her done.
Wow. So yeah, yep, this is where the APC comes in use.
Engaging. Moving out. Enemy sighted.
Alright, and then I'm gonna end my turn. Alright, just making sure everything looks good. So, because I didn't get the 1 turn, you get to see this baller in the camp. He doesn't cap for the camp.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, I'm guarding this camp, but he doesn't realize that it's not his.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, like, this comes down to the logic of
Oh.
if the enemy doesn't necessarily see you, they're not
That's
gonna
unfortunate.
actually perform actions.
Right. Nope. I'm fine.
Yep, so just pulling out the Ragnade here because there is a V2 class unit,
Show you what a star can
and I believe behind it is the supply vehicle.
That's actually pretty unfortunate. Usually he does not show up there.
enemy spotted.
Yeah.
Entering combat.
So when Anisette became a commando, she also picked up a massive benefit
Feeling.
of Fearless Will, which is a 70% damage boost for versus infantry, and also picked up 50 additional AP. Now you might think, oh, 50 additional AP is not very big, but trust me, when you get used to having that 400 AP instead of 350, it's a huge deal. Anisette also gets a fairly decent accuracy boost for also becoming a commando.
Alright, so just thinking here, I should probably change to the Empire flag sticker, yeah?
Yes. This is where you drop the Vanquish sticker for the rest of the run, I believe.
Yeah.
To begin,
Thank
here
you,
is today's
Vanquish sticker,
news.
but we no longer need you. So we're just progressing the story beats to unlock the October mission, and going to be changing the vehicle back to the tank. Thank
okay.
you.
I actually, sorry, I forgot.
Oh,
Not a big deal.
oh, you need to research the stuff,
What brings you here?
right?
Not a big deal. I can adapt. Good backup.
Yep, solid backup. So there we were just preparing the
How can I help
tank
you today?
for this mission, October's mission, because we need to destroy some boulders, because boulders, they're pathways for us, they're not just there to annoy us. And we're going to be ramming the tank through 2 sets of boulders in Area 4 so we can very quickly get into Area 5.
Yeah. Yeah, this can be a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, welcome to Dolphin Mines. And if you're listening to the music, you might be like, huh, this sounds very Final Fantasy 12-ish, because it's the same composer.
Okay.
Right, defense
listen
boost on
close.
Yvonne.
Hold fast. Hunker down and defend.
Right. Let's get her done. Where are they shooting from? I see you there.
Yeah, driving through here with the Crusher armor is much faster than going around the entire
Go down.
sort of outward ring of this area. And in addition to that, we also get behind everything.
Got it. Bye-bye. Yay! That's the stuff. Keep pushing them back.
Okay, let's go.
Now, the objective here is to defeat Baldrin, and Baldrin does real high damage. that even with defense boost can be pretty dangerous.
That looks good.
But
I
all
think.
that we do is run a Varn to turn him around, and then in comes the tank to shoot Baldrin in the head.
I got his. Bam!
And yeah, the tank is really powerful, with this sticker adding a little bit more power to make a single shot possible.
That can be a bit scary. Yeah, so Cosette gets her color vision back.
Yeah, there was a bomb in this mine, and you know the red wire, blue wire dilemma? Yeah, Cosette's colorblind and she doesn't know which one is which, so she's just like, I'm gonna do this 50-50 and hope it works. And it does.
Alright. Rifle 8. Uniform 7.
So the field suit AA is element resistant armor. It basically massively reduces the chances of you having getting debuffs like AP usage up or from enemy weapons. But instead of everyone getting access to it, you only get one piece of kit, so you have to manufacture multiple if you want everyone to have some ailment armor. The same happens with all other offshoot types of infantry weaponry. You have to manufacture multiple of them if you want everyone to get one. Which is incredibly time consuming, because you have to play missions upwards of 16 times if you want to research the entirety of R&D.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, the missions you have to play 16 times aren't that long. It's just running in a straight line, but you have to sit through the same mission 16 times still. So more crate collection, and now we have access to our commando. Our commando is going to be doing a lot of work.
I probably could have attacked on that previous action with Fearless Will, but hey.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you're going to be picking up the second crate with the commando. And that's where the 50 additional AP matters, if you get the double spawn in Area 5.
I see one. A crisis is a turning point, right, bro? Okay, let's go. A crisis is a
So yeah, there's no
turning
crates in Area 1 because the symbol didn't appear in the command mode. And effectively the way that the crate missions are sort of solved, or the way we figure them out, is how can we effectively get as many of them as quickly as possible, accounting for the location of every single possible spawn. Because I forget how many you need for this mission, but there are 2 possible spawns in each area.
No. Yeah, so we end our turn, so low turn clears are not always necessarily the fastest.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing. That happens throughout the entire series. Certain missions can be cleared in 1 turn, but there is a faster solution if you go for 2 or even 3 turns.
Alright.
I'm rolling out.
Oh yeah,
And of
another
course,
thing about that story mission. I can get wounded hard, and that will decrease my accuracy.
I see you there.
Yeah.
Go down.
It is like with all the defender missions here, you could clear them in 2, maybe 3 turns if you're going through efficiently, but it's not going to be as fast as, say, an 8-turn, just constant phase skipping.
Yeah, and this is a rather slow one.
Ooh,
No,
there's
I'm fine.
a cheeky little mine there,
Miles
but
and me.
there we go.
Yeah, so, like, these past few months are pretty intense, and November tends to be a pretty slow month.
Yeah, I was gonna say the past few months in like development for this game as well. Like, there's been a lot going on. You know, the new ultimate challenge route that's saved over 8 minutes the previous route.
Ah,
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
how can I help you today?
So, the thing about November is that across 2 missions, we have 20 minutes worth of defend missions.
Yeah. And also, I believe this is the first month where you have to do 4 of the key missions to progress as well.
Yeah. So we only deploy units in this area because we have artillery that we have to deal with.
Yeah. And unlike the previous defend missions, this artillery is actually kind of smart. And they will actually try to target your base, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get her done.
The spots where the enemy will target with artillery are, you know, they're kind of fixed, but
Oh.
in some missions...
That's actually good luck.
Cute.
Oh, well, let's go with the Bloodthirsty as well.
Down you go. I'm rolling out.
Are we gonna...
Go down.
Do we see a double Bloodthirsty?
Nope.
Nah.
Right.
Imagine if you got that, that'd be like, oh my god, 2 useful Bloodthirsties. But,
Down you go.
no, that's not how the game's gonna work.
I'm gonna focus.
I'm rolling out.
So yeah, Area 4 is kind of in the stable state now. And then
I'm
we just clear out the tanks to minimize the amount of damage that can be dealt.
Yeah. So I position the tank in a specific way here.
Yeah, protect your tank's butt.
Yeah. So there is an enemy ace tank which can easily destroy my tank, but a long time ago I figured out if you can just back up into a certain area, it'll try to attack you, but it can't really. Alright. I should probably get rid of the Lancer, because that Lancer can do some serious damage.
Yeah, even with the player tank being in the camp and having fairly decent defense, the Lancer is still gonna ping you pretty nastily.
Go down.
Gonna
I think you might need to move a little bit forward if you want to hit him.
I'll try something.
Eat this.
No, you know what? We're gonna use Zeri. Or Ansem. If I move the tank, I have to reposition.
From the top with feeling.
Oh yeah. Now you got Fearless Will, so now you'd be able to nuke the Lancer.
Yeah, like... there we go.
Yeah. Just make sure you get the 0 evade from a rear attack.
Well, of course.
Yeah, like, I usually move the tank, but I'm just trying to play it safe here.
Mhm.
Like, I could move, but yeah, like, the moving back is precise. But yeah, we've had some pretty unfortunate luck, but this is the nature of the speedrun.
Yeah, it's all about adapting to what can happen and everything.
And that separates a good runner from a great runner.
Mhm.
But yeah, like, hopefully we get some good luck in Area 4. Hopefully we don't get a Lancer and a Mortar unit. But yeah, so I guess I could talk about my history with this game. So I started speedrunning this game in 2014, and what happened was that I was on Speedruns Live, and I came across this person named Ghoul02, and he was speedrunning this game, and me being a huge fan of the game, I tuned in, and I remember him asking me, oh, you think about running the game, when I looked at his notes, and without thinking, I said, oh, sure! And little did I know that the speedrun for this game would take over a huge part of my life. That this was my very first speed game, which was difficult. And so I went to work on coming up my own route, where I introduced the tank turret and just a bunch of other stuff. And this was back in 2014. I was really the only one who was looking at this game for the longest time. And like the amount of trial and error and a lot of things that I came up with, that was entirely on my own. And until Loof and Doomy came along like a few years ago, like I was pretty much on my own. I ran this game from like 2014 to 2016. I did mess around some other stuff, but I didn't really come back until some years later. Like I did some sporadic marathon runs, but yeah, like Loof and Doomy, like they broke the game, and they came up with a completely different route.
Yeah, it's mostly like, well, we brought in a bunch of tech to the game. I wouldn't say like we broke it, because
Yeah.
but we brought in a load of new tech that has saved multiple minutes across the entire run.
Right. No, but like Edge Intercept, for example.
Yeah, edge interception is like the really big thing that, even though it's only used once, it saves having to use a defense boost, and then brings in the opportunity of that one turn against Audrey and the Gyro.
Yeah. No, but like, I guess I was the one who really broke the game way back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, because Ghoul's old run was like just over 5 hours back then,
And
then yeah, it was just over 5. I think.
it was 5
and
hours and 30 minutes, or 5:20 or something.
Yeah, and then you came in and put in all your own work. You brought it down to about 3:30, I'd say.
3:28.
Yeah, 3:30, 3:28, and now we're looking at like on a really good run now. We're looking at around a 3:18.
Yeah, and that's gonna take a grind. I'm gonna have to work for that run. It's not gonna be easy because the new route is a bit riskier. Like, I kind of kept some of my old route, so I combined a bit of it with the new route. So what helps is that I have the experience from like the old route. And when I showed this in late 2023 at Questing for Glory, like I ended up learning the route in like a month or so, and that was pretty stressful. Thankfully, I had the route in the back of my head, more or less.
Yeah, and that Questing for Glory run, I say we couldn't ask for a much better run, as it showed off everything the game can do. To be like, no, restart this mission. It showed off absolutely everything the game could do to just screw over the player.
Yeah.
So,
But now this
Well-
has been going better.
this has been
To
a much
begin,
cleaner and
here is
better run.
today's news. Avon, how can I help you today?
Fortress. I'm gonna focus here.
Yeah, so Cerulean Fortress, any mission that usually uses the word Cerulean usually hints to V2s are in the mission. So And I believe this mission can have like 2, maybe even 3 V2 spawn in the enemy base camp.
3 plus a
Yeah.
hauler.
Yeah, like there can be a bunch of stuff that can spawn in the enemy base camp in Area 4. So
Order, defense boost. Okay.
it's pretty nasty.
All right, here we go.
Moving out.
So yeah, just some wide stutter stepping to get around the V2 and making sure that the Ragnite crate doesn't absolutely nuke a Van, because that would be horrible.
I'm just playing it extremely safe here.
Yeah, you're out of the gunner vision now, but you still got to worry about the V2s.
Coming at you.
All right. Okay, that was good.
Enemy camp occupied. I'd expect no less.
Oh God.
Right, let's get her done. Hostile spotted. Hostile spotted.
But yeah, here we've got a lot of painful stuff. Supply vehicle, 2 V2s, and also the cannon tower.
Which is why we use defense boost.
Yeah.
Go down.
The death animations are pretty slow.
Right, let's get her done.
Yeah, quite often with V2 units, you don't want to kill them, because you only kill them when necessary, because this death animation is incredibly lengthy.
Right, let's get her done.
And I do want to kill that V.
Yeah. This V2 unit, I think it's just to reduce the amount of stutter stepping, and it is faster to kill.
Right, and I do keep the sandbag.
Moving out.
I'm jammed! I can't fire!
And just enough movement, that's tight.
Yeah. Very nice movement with Van there. And now onto Raging Sands. This is definitely a mission that is disliked by quite a few people. I know you don't necessarily like it.
To begin,
No, this was the bane of my
It's-
existence with the original route.
Yeah,
Ah,
but
how can I help you today?
there's actually 2 routes to Raging Sands. You've got the full defend route, which is 8 turns, or you actually have a kill all route, which Doomy created, which is terrifying. But the kill all route, if you get absolutely optimal spawns, is like 2 seconds faster.
Yeah. This is the longest mission in the game, I believe.
Yeah, this is definitely the longest mission in the game, because you've got enemy artillery that is going to attempt to target your base constantly, and you have to defend 3 camps. Defending 3 camps is quite a lot of effort.
Watch and learn.
And when you only have a total, like, fielding placement of 6, it's thinning out each of your camps quite significantly.
And then I'm gonna check with Marion.
Taking action now.
Yeah, doing a small scouting here of what can exist.
Alright. We're gonna retreat here, and then we are gonna put Marion right at the far edge.
I do so miss the Gallus.
That should be good.
Mhm.
And now we pray. Yeah, so most of the missions we can do in under 10 minutes. This is the only one we can't.
Yeah. Raging Sands is a very annoying mission.
Yeah, because the enemy will spam commandos.
Commandos have flamethrowers, and they'll hit through your tanks.
Yeah, like the amount of times that, like, I would have my units die.
Is there anything you need to do in Area 5, or is it just,
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, as you can see with, like, where they're placing the artillery, they're really trying to hit your camps in this mission.
Yeah, so Avon is just outside.
Yeah. I don't think, like, they hit the point that Avon's at, they just hit, like, the other three corners of the camp.
Yeah. Once we get past turn 3 or so, I should be safe. But yeah, we put the tank in Area 4, Avon in Area 5, and then our 3 troopers in Area 3. But yeah, so usually I kind of go on my little speech about, I think about all the time that I put in this game, and usually I don't think hard during this game because I don't have time, but here I can just sit back, because thinking too hard will be too distracting, and that can cause me to mess up. So advice for speedrunning: sometimes don't think. But here, I can just contemplate.
They're constantly nuking their own commandos in Area 4, which is actually really bad, because that means they're just going to be spawning more and waste more time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like, think about all the times that I spent routing this game, like several hundred hours, probably. And practice.
Yeah. You've definitely put probably the most amount of time in this game compared to anyone else that I know of.
Yeah, for sure, by a long margin.
There was a person I saw that put in like the sort of Valkyria Discord, like the more casual side of stuff, and where they discussed the games a bit more than just speedrunning, that posted a save file that was 100%, like absolutely everything, and it was like 450 hours. And I was like, why? At that point.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, like 450 hours for a save file, yeah, that's everything, including all the titles, and one of the titles requires 300 hours playtime.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I consider 100% the BL medals, and it is a grind. It is a total grind.
Yeah, generally, like, an all decorations is typically seen as the actual 100%, if that makes sense. What they did was an absolute max percent. Like, it's stuff beyond what would normally be seen out of a 100%. To give an example of that, with like Crash Bandicoot 3, you only need the gold relics to get the gem from Coco, but a max percent would also get all platinum relics. It's not necessary for the maximum 105%, it's just the additional stuff on top.
Yeah. No, but I mean, the community, like the Valkyria community, has grown a lot over time. Like, I remember, like, with the first game, I mean, there were people who were doing, like, segmented runs. Then Retrothon came along with the first game and was first to do RTA runs. You know, people kind of came along. I came along to work on the second game, did a little bit the first game. And within the last few years, like, I mean, we had a few more people pick up VC1, but at a certain point, the community really picked up.
Yeah, the fact that VC3 had a run, like, actually had, like, a route that existed from Natodom is something. It may have been on easy for VC3, but VC3 is a really, really difficult game if you're playing on normal. And then Doomy was like, yeah, I'm gonna do VC3 normal.
Sounds like Doomy, alright.
That's some Doomy stuff there.
Yeah.
And that's like a 6-hour run.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll even touch that one.
Yeah, in a mission count, it only has 5 more missions than VC2 for its stories, like 60 missions. But those missions are far longer, and some of them are like 20 minutes long, I think.
Oh yeah, like we have a lot of kill all missions, a lot more, and they take longer, and you have the maps.
Yeah, you have to do some kill all missions in the run, which, yeah, if you lose track on enemy counts in your areas, it's really horrible.
Yeah. It's why I haven't really touched it, and why only 2 people have. I mean...
I came up with some theories for VC3 for the route, and I believe they're actually still in. Like, you know the engineer bug that I showed off where it's like engineers are coded like tanks? That's actually made its way into the run.
Wow. And then 4. We've had a decent amount of runners for 4.
Yeah, 4's had a good amount of runners, it being on all the modern platforms, PC, Switch. I think, like, console runners do run on Switch.
Yeah.
Not sure why, but yeah, they run on Switch. Since it's got better accessibility compared to this is stuck on the PSP, and well, we're playing on a Vita TV here. VC4 is being really popular. I do believe we got the platform difference between like console and PC for VC4 as well.
And a more recent development, going back to VC1, New Game Plus went through a big rule change.
Yeah, for VC1, we came to a vote on if we should do a rule change of how New Game Plus is ran. Initially, it would be, I'm going to load into my New Game Plus save, I'm going to go into my headquarters, see who's in my headquarters. If it's not who I want, then you just have to reload again and constantly do that. We permitted to where you can take your New Game Plus save and have no book mode progress. You can go into the headquarters, you can check who's in there. If it's who you like, you can keep that. You can also re-gear your characters with all the stuff you need, and then create a save after you've done that with no book mode progress. So instead of constantly resetting for the headquarters, which gets very frustrating, you can now just load in your save, go straight into the game, and pump out way more attempts every hour.
Right.
And between the community, that was a unanimous decision. Like, absolutely no one was against the rule change. We did have decisions on how much we permit you to do in the headquarters, and that was also unanimous to being able to get the units you want and also equip them.
Well, we got our story mission. So what happened is that the army took back the capital, and the rebels are kind of on the retreat.
Yeah, so we're at the aqueduct, the Anthold Aqueduct, which is, again, every sort of story mission likes to throw you into a brand new area for its mission. And the objective here is to get Zeri to the end marker in, I forget which area it is, but to get to the end marker that is in area, come on game, area 3.
Yeah.
Watch and learn.
And all that we really have to do is defend the 2 camps in areas, I believe it's 4 and 5, while Zeri is getting to the end.
That's dangerous. I usually wait until the second action.
Moving out.
Are you going to do a second heal here as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see, like, they can hit pretty hard. But yeah, so kind of what's been going on is that the rebels are trying to escape, and Audrey and the others are putting up heavy resistance. So what do we do? Oh, we're gonna send Zeri over to destroy the aqueduct.
Let's get started.
But we have Audrey's tank, and we have to put 4 units because we're just trying to hold out until we get Zeri to the goal point.
Yeah. The objective here is just to hold the camps, and then Zeri's bolting his way through Area 3.
Yeah, so you want to explain morale?
So the morale system, there is a failure state on every single mission if morale hits 0. I'm not sure like how many people have legitimately hit the 0 morale state, but it affects the chances of activating positive or negative potentials. 3 is the base rating on morale, but you can also you can go up to, I believe it's morale 6, which it shows max, which will massively increase the chances of positive potentials and reduce negative potentials. You can also have your morale hit 0, where the game will instantly fail you if you hit 0.
Yeah, alright, I did it. That looked pretty solid.
In VC2, typically you shouldn't ever hit 0 morale because morale gains are quite crazy. Like, you kill an enemy and it goes up by like 20%. But in VC3, morale is something that you can very much lose to, because morale gains are halved in that game compared to VC2, which means building morale takes a lot of effort in VC3.
Yeah. Alright, well, we're in December. You know what that means.
The end game.
Yeah. But yeah, let me just focus here. Give me a second. So, uniform 8. Alright. And then we change equipment. Making sure. And then vehicle. Get rid of. And we get the constructor arm. And then I'm just gonna check anyway.
I've been waiting.
Yeah, so this is a check for additional classes, and unfortunately, no.
No, we already got what we need. So, you seen how the game has tried to screw me over? This mission is difficult. The game's out for my blood. I am gonna take off. I'm gonna go quiet, gonna take off my earphones. But yeah.
And I'll cover this mission while you do that. So this is Beyond the Floodgate. This is probably one of the most crazy missions in this game, because there's a lot of nonsense that can happen in this map. The objective is to escort the APC all the way to Area 5, and I believe it starts in Area 3. So what you have to do is, first of all, it's behind the floodgate. And with the floodgate, you have to go into Area 4 to open up the gate to even start progressing the mission. But what we're going to do is we're going to be skipping the first turn straight away to do a command point rollover to where we will have 20 command points in turn 2 and do a massive push. It might seem silly that you do a command point rollover, but it's actually fast. And why is it fast? Because we defense boost into Avan.
Hold fast. Hunker down and defend.
And instead of having a turn where we'd have 6 command points, we have 16 to work with.
Moving out.
So Avan's going to be hitting the switch to open up the floodgate in Area 4, which is down sort of the central path of this area. And Avan is also equipped with the anti-ailment armor, so he doesn't get hit by an APU suck.
I'm just getting started.
But Avan is also going to be capturing the top camp in Area 4 at the same on the same action, or the same turn. So You have to carefully navigate around that mine because, yeah, that mine is in a terrible location.
Moving out. A crisis
So now
control
Action
point.
2 and Action 3 are going to be to get as close to the camp as possible and grenade out the gunner.
Coming at ya.
Wonderful.
Let's shore up this camp's defenses.
Watch and learn.
Now in Area 5, all that you need to do is run Zeri to capture the camp to connect to the other area.
I see you there.
Nice work. Things are progressing well.
And then within Area 3, in Area 2, going to be rushing towards the connection to Area 3. And instead of rushing through Area 3, you just kind of backdoor the mission.
Well, of course.
Nicely done.
And I'm off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So yeah, you let the armor tech, not armor tech, the V2 attack your armor tech, because this enables you to
Yeah, okay,
just
sure.
during its sort of reload to just run by safely, and also it's a check for a mine on the bridge because we need to get the ABC through there. And if there's a mine, it does a lot of damage to the escort ABC.
Don't chase them too deep.
I'm running
Now with
out.
some clean driving, you'll be able to get the APC into Area 5 within the turn.
Right, let's get her done. Right, let's get her done.
And that should be good. Some people might go down in Area 4, but it shouldn't be too horrible. Area 4 holds. There we go.
I'm rolling out. But I see you there.
It's like they want to get shot.
And there we go.
Right, let's get her done.
Thank you, Morris, and thank you, Rainier, for taking the dirt for us. But that's beyond the floodgate.
To begin, here's today's
Very, very
news.
scary mission that, because if you're just letting stuff happen, it can get a little bit out
How
of
can I
control.
help you today?
Yeah. Now you understand why I went completely silent. Well.
Yeah.
God, that was stressful. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't able to listen to what you were talking about, but
I was just rambling about how the mission went, and
Alright. yeah, no, but that
How-
went well as
Yeah.
it could have.
that is a good beyond the floodgate.
Yeah. like, you can game over and there's nothing you can do.
Yep, and now we have a 9-turn defend mission. And the objective is destroy the 2 tanks and just sit in the camp.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are longer speedruns out there, but, like, for this run, the amount that you're doing, it takes a lot out of me.
Watch you get bloodthirsty on the 4th shot now.
Nope. But, yeah, we just do nothing.
Yep, all just because you have to defend 1 camp, and once you take out tanks, there's nothing anti-armor against you.
Yeah. But yeah, I am playing on a PS4 controller, and the amount that I mash the touchpad... Like, there is a visible smudge mark on the right side.
You used to play on PS3 pad, didn't you?
Yeah, for a while. And before that, I used to play from the PSP itself.
Yeah, note to self, playing on a PS3 is really uncomfortable. PSP is very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. That only lasted a year or so.
Especially when, like, you kind of have to play this, you do the runs with the PSP on charge as well, like, because the PSPs these days aren't gonna be having, like, 3.5-hour battery to play this.
Yeah, and usually playing it through composite cables.
You get terrible visual quality as well.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I remember my original run being like a 5:05:34. And then my next run was a 4:44:44.
You're actually getting the 4:44:44.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, but I do, as much as I talk about this game or kind of go on, I do enjoy running it, and it's just the amount that I have to react and just the flexibility and the ways that you can approach things is why I enjoy running this game so much.
Yeah. And as we'll both say, that if you have been a massive fan of the 1st and 4th games, we do recommend you to play the 2nd game before the 3rd, because it'll get you into tune with how it controls on the PSP, which you would really, really want for the 3rd game with its difficulty.
Yeah. We got our last supply crate mission.
Yep.
Kind of set. Yeah. So we've come full circle with the supply crate mission, going back to this map.
The first one happens here, the last one happens here.
And it's more difficult. Okay, good.
I'm rolling out. I see you there.
Okay, I think I see a supply crate.
Hostile spotted. I see you there.
That should be fine.
Brace for the enemy's attack.
I'm gonna move a little bit more.
I'm rolling out. Hostile spotted.
Gonna...
Okay, let's go.
Go on, Yvonne. You got this.
A crisis is a turning point, right, bro? Coming at you.
Yep.
Nice grenade launch.
So different enemies have like different launch hitboxes for launching.
Good. This will make things a bit easier.
I like turning the turret around because, or the cannon tower, because that thing can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, like you'll see Anisette get absolutely shredded by the cannon tower here.
Or not.
If it was able to lock on, and turning it around is like a super safe strategy.
And at this point, I would just rather take the safe strategy.
I found one.
Yeah.
Watch for an enemy ambush.
It's a hostile.
I
Go on,
believe
what
there
game?
are 4 or 5, I forgot.
I found one.
Bit awkward.
Yeah, okay, sure.
You're a tech with 85 health that's basically infinite still.
Yeah. And then...
Watch and learn. Enemy sighted. I don't lose. Enemy nothing to get wild about.
Demon Rat Child.
Here I come. Bye-bye.
Go on, Alias, you got this.
Yeah.
Enemy spotted. Where'd you all go?
Right.
Good clean on that.
Yeah. I believe we only have one more regular mission in the entire run.
Yep, that would be December 5.
Yeah, this one is a fun one to do. I do enjoy it.
To
Mhm.
begin, here is today's news. Ah, Avon, how can I help you today?
Counteroffensive is a cool mission.
Yeah.
I like seeing how like you have protecting the water in December is the first mission, because that mission is just really horrid.
Beyond the Floodgate, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, Floodgate not protecting the water.
I used
They
to,
use the same map.
yeah, I used to leave it for last.
Yeah, probably not the best thing to do. But yeah, this mission's actually really cool. A counteroffensive.
I see. I don't lose. Enemy sighted. I don't lose.
Even when I was playing like through this game casually, counteroffensive was a really fun mission.
No heroics out there, guys.
Just making sure that look good. Hard to tell. I think it did.
Yeah. Very nice grenade that.
All right, on to the next objective.
And we use the tank to block the Gatling bunker.
As the Gatling bunker does
But I see you there.
tons of damage.
Careful. They'd still be
But it's not just to block the Gatling bunker,
Go down.
you also need to take out the supply vehicle.
Down you go.
Now they're jammed.
I'm rolling out.
And with the V2 units, infantry struggle to take them out with the gear that we have during the story missions, so we kind of have to use the tank for it.
Taking the stage.
You might see Anisette get clipped by like a single bullet
Oh!
from the. Oh yeah, you see that? Like an instant, and Anisette's lost half her health. That is the purple water trying to kill us.
So there.
That's why it's important to block the tank. Otherwise, that camp is almost unapproachable.
Okay, let's go.
Look out below you. It's a trap.
And then we end our turn.
Yeah, you know, we may have left our base camp open, but they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna let you fail.
Yeah, when you play this game long enough, you can kind of guess what the enemy is doing while on instant enemy phase.
Yeah. Quite often, I know you do a little bit of practice on a fast enemy phase, just so you can see what they do, and then,
I'm rolling out.
you know, instant enemy phase for runs.
I've broken through their formation.
I am.
Hostile spotted.
Oh boy, that's actually pretty unfortunate.
Eat this. Enemy silent. I'm rolling out.
That's not a very good spawn.
I'm just going to get rid of him.
Down you go.
All these lancers.
Let's get her done. Eat this.
Nice.
Yeah. With the last lancer, you can leave him
Alright, yep.
for
And then I am
your
gonna
run.
focus.
Moving out.
All the debuffs appearing for Avan there.
Oh,
You seem to be... Oh, really? Oh, that is...
that's never happened before.
I think you might need to get rid of this Lancer.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
That's
It's still manageable, though. You just need to...
that's never happened before. There, I said it.
all right.
Yeah. Luckily, you lost the targeting on the V2, and luckily you also got the V2 in the camp. Because if you didn't get the one in the camp, this would have been really bad.
Yeah. Well, the end game's gonna be pretty rapid fire.
Yeah, the last 3 missions go very quickly.
And it's a great end game for like as far as speedrun goes. Because the amount that we get to show off.
Yeah, some of the coolest stuff actually exists in the end game.
To begin, here is today's news.
So, Battle and Hold Arbor. Hey, now we need to defeat Dirk, who is totally not Leon.
Alright, I'm gonna focus here.
Objective here is pretty simple. All we need to do is hit the gate switch D to open up the gate for the supply vehicle, and then blast Dirk in the head a couple times. Because Dirk is vulnerable to target mode and stutter
I
step.
can only take 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah, Dirk hits incredibly hard, so you have to be fairly safe.
Yeah, also, I can barely hear the sound effect.
Cute.
Oh, a useful bloodthirsty?
Yeah.
I'm rolling out. Eat.
There we go. Goodbye, Dirk. That's how powerful this cannon that we have on the tank is. It
Yeah.
absolutely trivializes that mission.
Yeah.
I know during my casual playthrough I did something similar, but I had a sniper elite and I just popped Dirk in the head 3 times. And It was really funny.
Yeah, so
Just dies.
we get the one major sequence break in the game. So you want to explain what we're supposed to do in this mission?
So in this mission, what they want you to do is that they want you to destroy the 3 radiators, 1 in each area, area 1, 2, and 3. And there are 2 switches, and to get to 2 of the radiators, the only way to do that is to use the 2 switches, switches A and B, in area 1. However, we can skip one of these switches, the switch A, because of something called the Wonder Shot,
Right, let's get her done.
where if you put your tank in a very specific position, you can just about hit this radiator up here without
Wander shot!
having to hit switch A.
Enemy silent.
And that saves a lot more time than you think it does.
Watch and learn. I don't lose. I see you there. I see you there. Enemy sighted. Nothing to get wild about. Backup still isn't here?
So all we need to do now is hit switch B, and then we will
Entering combat.
expose the 3rd radiator.
Our sailors.
These heavy scouts hit rather hard.
Be gone!
Yeah, heavy scouts, they hit harder, they have a lot more health, but they only have 450 AP. So typically, like during a
Moving out.
run, we won't be using the heavy scouts. Or like, we typically avoid using them because AP is way more important of a stat than anything
Watch a
else.
little blood loss.
Ooh, Yvonne's.
I'm fine.
So now that we've exposed the final radiator, we can just blast it apart.
Mission here. What the fence?
Yeah, fences are a suggestion in this game. You can shoot through them.
Wow, we're on the last mission.
Yep,
Been a long road.
the final mission here, or the final mission for any percent. There is a sort of a true ending mission, but that requires you to do an absurd amount of
Alright.
grind.
It's not over until it's over.
Yep. And here we go with the final battle.
Okay, got it. Where'd you all go?
So we are going to be hitting switch A in this mission, and that just allows Zeri to get through.
Watch and learn.
Yep.
I see you there. I don't lose. I can do this. Just stay calm. Enemy sighted. I don't lose. Watch and learn. I don't lose.
And luckily, they don't have anyone guarding these camps in area 2 and 3.
Right.
Moving out. I see one.
So yeah, Baldrin's turned himself into an artificial Valkyria, and this area doesn't have your normal supply vehicle. Because his supply, his power supply, is on his back.
Watch over me, Leon.
So what we need to do is we need to turn him around, and we're just gonna blast him with the tank a couple times.
Right, let's get her done. Eat this. I'm rolling out.
And there we go.
Down you
Oh, wow. You see that time?
3:34.
That's actually
Gee.
really good.
That's a good time. That's a GG's.
Yeah, wow.
We're here today to
Oh,
celebrate
wow,
your
that-
graduation.
Considering
Thinking
what
back over
was
the year
thrown
we've
my
spent
way,
together, my head spins at all that's happened.
it's actually pretty good as far as the showcase goes.
Yeah.
But all things, both
But
good
yeah,
and
I'm
bad,
always happy to show
must
off this game.
eventually come
This
to
game
an
is near
end.
and dear to me. Like,
seeds
it's always
carried off
been
on
my
a
main
warm
speed
spring
game for a
wind.
while.
Each of
I
you
am
will
doing my
venture out
final
into the
push
world
towards a
and
sub
find a
320,
place of
which
your own.
is going to be a
And though
grind.
that's as
I'm
it
gonna have
should
to
be,
really put in my
I
work,
can't
but I
help but
believe
feel
it
our
can be
parting is
done.
bittersweet.
But yeah,
Going to
Yep.
miss you.
like, I'm just
As
trying to
you
think of what
begin
else
the
to
next
say. You have
chapter
any
of your
closing
lives.
remarks?
We could not have asked for a
I'd
finer
like to
day
give a
to make our
thanks to the
farewells.
Valkyria speedrunning community.
Yes,
I'm not
fortune has
necessarily
smiled upon
much of a
us.
speedrunner, but speedrunning's all about like you've got the people that do the runs, but then there's people that find the glitches and all the techniques, and then you've got the people that put the route together. Speedrunning is a collective effort to bring your time down as low as possible. So, as I say, I don't necessarily run the games, but I find a lot of stuff.
And I always appreciate you being around for this.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, like, Valkyria Chronicles 2 is definitely a game worth playing, even if people say, just go and play 3. There's a lot of lovely things within 2, in my opinion. And it sets the groundwork for Valkyria Chronicles 3, which, yes, it is a far better game, but you get to properly appreciate it if you see the baseline it went off, which is this.
But yeah, like I said, these runs take out a lot out of me, and I'm glad that I was able to show it off and that the run went as well as it did. Like, this is still a very respectable time.
Yeah, of course. I want to give thanks to Retrothon and Retro Gaming Live TV for taking this run on board, and thank you to the tech crew who were lovely to work with.
I thank you all very much. Just trying to think of what else to say. Again, thank you everyone, and yeah.